Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today, and welcome to episode 89 of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. Today, I am joined by the most blessed shinobi to walk the face of the earth. This is certainly your week, my friend, Lord Cognito. Welcome.
Yes. Good to be here. Good to be here. I'm feeling good, man. It's a lot of things we're going to talk about. Games are like looking good. I'm feeling good. I'm just excited. I'm excited about a lot of stuff that's coming. 2023. Woo-hoo!
We are going to be busy.
Yeah. We got stuff to talk about.
Of course. So, ladies and gentlemen, this episode is going to be a lot of fun. We have 4, really 5 actually, showcase recaps. The reason I wanted to put this up front is we're going to do a rare thing, which is record a pickup. For those who don't know what that is we're recording the whole entire episode now. And then when the Tokyo Game Show stream happens for Xbox, Cog and I are going to get up around like 9 a.m. and we're going to record a pickup on whatever happens there, because right now it's said to be a 50-minute showcase with first and third-party stuff there, updates on current games, and we're hearing the rumbling, so we want to make sure we don't miss that with our show this week, especially when every other company and their showcase is going to be in our episode. Nintendo, of course, PlayStation with their great state of play. We had to get Xbox involved. So we're going to talk about ID at Xbox as well. We're going to talk about this Tokyo Game Show stream. But just know, if suddenly you hear a cut or you see us in different outfits, that's because we're recording the pickup. The plan here is, if it is a significant showcase, we will put it at the front of our show and base the episode details all around that. If it is not, the way I've structured it is our news is going to be the general Xbox news involving like Bonnie Ross and what's going on with Forza Motorsport, so on and so forth in the front. And then the last section of news is going to be all of the showcase recaps back to back to back to back, just going through all the announcements, all the reveals, and reacting to them. So it's going to be a meaty episode. I just want to make sure that was up here in the front. Cog, I am very excited because this has been a fun week for gaming. Lots and lots has been shown.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready for a big week, yo.
Absolutely. So let's just get the promos out of the way. Of course, patreon.com/laststandmedia is where you can head to for early access to our shows. You can also get Defining Duke Ultimate, where we recorded another 343 focused episode because the day of we had a certain fun plan, but news had hit that Bonnie Ross, the head of Xbox, would be leaving 343. So we rounded up Chris Raygun. We got together for another DDU focusing on this company. We talked about the future of the Halo IP. And of course, we'll be talking about that in the news here today, but you know, you don't get Chris with that. So I do apologize. But Cog, what was the DDU rating for episode 85?
The DDU rating was strong. I think we got those nice raw reactions. Sometimes I like raw reaction right as the news break because you get how you truly feel in the moment. Chris had things to say.
He did indeed.
Yeah, he had things to say. Salute to the Ray Gun, man. He was in his bag, you know, said obviously me and you, you know, obviously we have our thoughts, but yeah, it was breaking. It was a megaton. We made the audible. We called the audible right on the day, and we hit the news. So I would highly advise people to go check it out. We're going to definitely talk about it a little bit today, but I would highly advise that raw reaction. The Dukes, Chris Raygun was really phenomenal.
That was right when the news hit. We had recorded that, so we were feeling it, man. Yeah. But now you get the filtered thoughts here in the more professional show, if you will. Now, before we get into all of our main news, we have a ton of things to go over before we begin. Let's start off with this one. Ridgeline Games, led by Halo and Disintegration co-creator Marcus Leto, will be developing a narrative campaign set in the Battlefield universe. This has been floating around for a little bit, but it's sort of been laid out as a more official announcement. This is something that's happening. I've heard that Battlefield 2042 is enjoying a small bit of a resurgence right now. It's starting to get back on track, which is good because I love the Battlefield games. But Cog, do you have any interest in narrative set Battlefield games? I think that a Bad Company days, and those were quite solid.
Yeah, I mean, Battlefield has made a couple of attempts at it, and yeah, I'm all about. We got the theme going to be. I'm all about the spin-offs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And just
Mm-hmm.
experimenting with the franchise in different ways. So yeah, I'm willing to give it a shot. And then it's my man that's up there. If it was Vince Pella running the show
Mm-hmm.
over there, they put him on a Battlefield project. You know what I'm saying? Stop the bleeding. I want to see what they got cooking up long term for the whole franchise.
Yeah, it's sad it took a catastrophe, but I do love how they're restructuring the Battlefield franchise moving forward. And the fact that they're doing a narrative campaign, I think, is almost the exclamation point to the fact that EA truly does believe in single player games again. Because it's one thing to do Star Wars. I feel like there's a safety net for Star Wars to some extent, but a Battlefield single player game, that'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. So we'll keep our eyes locked. Again, though, I don't want to do any disrespect, but this is from the director of Disintegration, which was a game that very quickly came and left.
Yes.
All right, Stalker 2, one of the more anticipated Xbox exclusives. It's been delayed for a while now due to the war between Russia and Ukraine. Right now, pre-orders for Stalker 2 are being reimbursed as they are no longer allowing people to pre-order the game. If you head to the Xbox store, pre-orders are not even being accepted. A GSC spokesperson had the following to say, quote, "We had to postpone the game to 2023 with no exact release date for now. We made the announcement at E3's Microsoft Extended Showcase alongside a dev diary and intro cutscene. Microsoft refunds pre-orders for the games with no exact release date. When we announce the exact release date later on, the pre-orders will go live again for Xbox. Pre-orders on PC, such as Steam, Epic Game Store, GOG, are not affected by this. So you can still pre-order it over on PC, but right now, Xbox is enacting a policy where, since development has stagnated, it would seem, that there is not going to be pre-orders over there. So it makes sense. It's just an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, real life, man. You got to respect what's going on over there. So yeah, just hopefully everything is okay. And like I said, one of those rare situations where I don't get crazy because I remember seeing those documentaries and when they did something on,
Yeah,
I think the showcase, it really hit home on how dudes are really working out here in the field, outside. Like when I say outside, they're outside. So salute to the
legit.
team, and it'll be ready when it's ready.
Absolutely. So remain patient. And I personally, I'm not even saying this because of the situation they're in. Like, I literally can't wait to try Stalker 2 because a lot of people have insisted I play this franchise, and this was going to be my first dive into it. But
Same.
may have to look around elsewhere because we talked about this on a previous episode, but it looks like there's rumors that other entries might be coming to modern consoles. So hopefully that is the case. But moving on, Ubisoft is now joining the crew of $70 AAA games, beginning with Skull and Bones on November 8th. I understand why. This is the nature of our industry, but man, did they pick the wrong game on the wrong day, because we already got them going against my man Sonic, Kratos, right? You're already fighting an uphill battle, and then you're just deciding we're going to charge a little more. And we're going to go against the Titans. I don't know, man. Not feeling too good about Skull and Bones.
I'm with you there, man. They got their chest out a little bit too strong for my liking. Somebody,
we got that 10-cent money. We could take a risk.
To be supposed to yank that collar back, just relax, bro. But hey, you're feeling very bullish about the title, and hey, $70 debut on you. Okay, let's see how this works out for you.
Indeed. I will give them credit. They practically completely reconstructed Skull and Bones from what we originally saw, but it's still missing core features that people were asking for from day one. That's going to, I think, make it an easy title to avoid. We'll see, though.
You'll see.
This one's worth keeping an eye on. Triangle Strategy from Art Dink, not the same developer as Octopath Traveler, which is XIII, will be coming to Steam on October 13th, 2022. Why is this important? Because when Octopath Traveler, which we will talk about extensively in this show, came over to PC, it also came to Xbox and it joined Game Pass. This is, in my opinion, the top 3 games that have come out this year. So definitely keep an eye out for Triangle Strategy, tactical 16-bit RPG in that HD 2D style art that we've seen from Square Enix in the past. Wonderful politically driven story, real choice and consequence with the scales of conviction. You get your whole crew together and you try to convince them one way or another, and you'll have different scenarios that play out based on the choices you make. It's absolutely a phenomenal game. So even if it just comes to Steam, check it out. But I do feel like if history is to repeat itself, we may see this make its way to Xbox. Are you personally interested in this one, Cock?
Yes, absolutely. I got to shout out again. One of my writers, lordsofgaming.net, Lord Flame, huge fan of the game. Huge fan. I got to shout out Attic, huge fans of the game. The talk was which one was better, like that or Octopath and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I'm excited to get my hands on it. And if history bodes well according to what you're saying, and we get a port to the big boys, then yeah, I'll be in there to check it out.
Nice. This is also extremely important here. All of this is important. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made the doc, but you get my point. I'm emphasizing Judgment/Lost Judgment has officially come to Steam, as you can go there right now and pick the games up. For many, this may not actually be major, but to others, this signifies that the drama between Sega and the agency of lead actor Takeo Kimura may have been settled. It was originally revealed back in July of 2021 by a Japanese showbiz outlet called Nikon Taishu that Judgment as a series may not continue on due to this dispute. To summarize, Sega wanted to expand the reach of the series via a PC release. However, Takeo Kimura's agency had a strict likeness rights policy limiting even photos of the talent on the internet. Yes, they literally are from the Stone Age. This was followed up by a report via Kotaku saying that Lost Judgment as a series would be over after that. Now, it's possible the two settled their differences, at least for the PC version to come out, but do take this as a possible sign that talks are swinging in the right direction. Cog, any input from you on this one?
Yeah, this was always a weird situation to me. Like I was just like, the actor, the likeness, and all this stuff, and it was so weird because it was so visible, so part of this series, and I was just like, how are they going to resolve this? This thing just going to end because they can't resolve it? So this is good. This is good news, positive direction. I haven't got a chance to try Judgment, but it looked very interesting, and the vibe I got was that Like a Dragon would, go in the route of the turn based. That's going to be the flow for that, and then Lost Judgment stuff kind of signifies how the old Yakuza style games used to be when you run around and stuff like that. So this is cool because fans of that style want to still see it move forward, and stuff. We got other things to talk about, but
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have a lot of RGG games to talk about throughout this entire show. I swear, I've always joked that this is a cursed year, but none other than like the reception to last week's show and seeing people really up in arms about Yakuza. As I'm on my bullshit, they decided to announce 3 games and then release 2 more on PC, man. Wow.
It's the revenge
biggest L of our show's history, man. That is truly the revenge of the Shinobi, indeed. I have much more to say, so we'll speed our way towards that. For now, let's talk about Babylon's Fall. This is a game that came out at the beginning of this year in February. It's a live service game from Platinum Games. You may know them for Astral Chain, Bayonetta, some wonderful action titles. They're terminating the online service to this game on February 28th, 2023. That is the 1-year anniversary of the game. They announced that this past week. So yeah, the player base is extremely low. That was very apparent from the start. It was not a good idea. And I do hope that this does not spell the end of Platinum, because this was a really bad call all around to make them do this.
Yeah, this concerns me. It's definitely, I'm with you. This concerns me. I love Platinum. Sometimes, first of all, the online being killed so early, is always a bad side to me. And I am concerned that, as a result of this, usually studios, you have like 1 or 2 flops and you're out of here. That's just the nature of the industry.
They've had more than that, let's be honest.
Let's be honest, right? So that's why I was pulling for them, but I'm very concerned. I want to know what's the next step, what's the next move. You know how I feel about acquisitions and who should. Listen, I don't even care. Like people kill me, like, oh, you just want Xbox. Yeah, like, oh, well, yeah, okay.
I do feel like that'll be one.
And right now they desperate, and we got to see how this is going to play out. To keep the lights on, what will people do? So I'm hoping personally it's Xbox or even PlayStation or even Nintendo. Like, give me an Astral Chain too. I'm cool with that, but they need to do something. Yeah. What? I love that game. Some of the best training music when you training with your little Astral Chain. That beat in that thing. I was like, the police station. That's a vibe. That's the vibe. That game is fine. Very unique concept. Man, I'm pulling for them. So hopefully they can get back on their feet.
Absolutely. Next, Discord now available on Xbox. I love this. I absolutely love this. I use Discord all the time. Typically my PC's on next to my Xbox being on to kind of condense that down. Just have that option is wonderful.
Nah, huge, and especially with Xbox's move into PC, cross-platform play anywhere kind of vibe. Discord is the de facto PC platform.
Mhm.
Get it on there. I still want the integration to be a little better.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want
yeah,
it to be a
yeah.
little
It's
native,
definitely
you know.
bare bones. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, if it was like the Skype app or something, it would be even better, you know,
Hmm.
kind of thing
Yes,
as a
sir.
backup to party chat. But look, it's there. It's a positive stride. So I'm excited.
100%. 13, as many of you know, the remake came out years ago, was not good, critically panned, technically broken. They announced a couple of months ago a major overhaul was coming to the game. It's available now as a free update. Early impressions are pretty positive to it. It seems like they've actually truly fixed the game. And again, I need to emphasize this is being done for free. Not that we need to thank them, it shouldn't have been broken in the first place, but this is a pretty notable make good. This type of stuff doesn't just snap out of thin air. And the game wasn't super popular in the first place. It was already a cult classic where I think the remake could have came out, done what it did, and it just would have gone away as a tragedy. But the fact that they actually came back and fixed it does signify to me that there is a company there that does care about the IP, perhaps a little too late, but again, available for free. And if you are a big fan of the 13 game, then you can play the remake now and it's competent.
Yeah, no, that's what's up, man. Free update, that's what's up. I
Mm-hmm.
respect it. Yeah, make it right by the consumer.
Mm-hmm. We talked about EA and Koei Tecmo a couple of weeks ago. Koei Tecmo, you want to talk about outside? Oh man,
Right?
they have grown as a publisher indeed. I remember they just used to me be the Dynasty Warriors and the Samurai Warriors company, but they are far beyond that as they have announced they are working on the next great hunting game as an EA original. So it's going to be a Monster Hunter competitor, and that is not what I expected from EA. I guess maybe Koei, you could possibly swing that. You know, that's a Japanese style game, but EA going to be really interested to see how this one turns out.
Look, man, I gotta give EA some kudos, man. There's a lot of moves recently I've been digging. I've been feeling it. Then they got a couple of my peoples over there. They got my man over there on Skate. They got my man over there on the new Jedi Fallen Order 2. Yeah, this is cool. I mean, I
Mhm.
like them embracing this type of game, and I like Koei Tecmo kind of spreading their wings, you know what I'm saying, and
Yeah.
doing different things too. So it's gonna be in that Dynasty Warriors, that feudal Japan setting. You know how COG feels about feudal
Mm-hmm.
Japan and them settings,
A
you know what I
lot,
mean?
lot of that lately.
Yeah. Don't sound so excited, Batty. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, let's go, man. EA, kudos for diversifying and not just everything, you know, like your history people know
Mm-hmm.
you for.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
Yeah,
good.
man. I mean, Koei, I just got to tip my cap. I think of some of the games they did. Of course, we know them for the Warriors games, but they also published something like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. They also published,
Fire.
they're going to be publishing Wo Long. I mean, just
Mm-hmm.
a couple. They're out there, man. They're doing a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
work. So maybe add them to the list for those of you who want a Japanese publisher for Xbox
You
because
know
they
what's
are doing
funny?
God's work.
It's just that was Saul's pick for when we did
Oh, well, it's
like
going to happen then.
acquisition.
Yeah.
Watch it happen. Yo, I just
Yeah.
thought about I was like, really Saul? Koei Tecmo? He's like, yeah, man. Da, da, da. And then they ever since he said that, they've been like on fire with the
You
releases and
know
the
some,
announcements.
man.
Soft, the
Something with
Sostradamus.
these lords. They say stuff when they pretend they don't know it.
Oh, here we go.
All right. Let's talk more about Japan. Like a Dragon 8. It's an RPG. Kiryu-chan is back. And he may have his own party alongside Ichiban Kasuga. Cog, you are the resident Yakuza guy, it would seem. I don't know, just a bit of a hunch. How do you feel that Ichiban is back? I was celebrating your DMs knowing like the next Like a Dragon game is going to have Ichiban. I was getting my slander ready. I was like, yeah, you guys pushed me into this. And guess what? Nope. They announced this and another one we'll talk about after this. So please, Cog, take the stage. What do you think about Like a Dragon 8?
Bro, super hype, super hype. I mean, this is what I kind of do because the leak happened and I seen Ichiban kind of with a little ponytail action. I was like, what are he doing? What's going on? You know what I mean? So he's going to do a little metamorphosis on the hair, but which he always does. It's kind of funny. But nah,
Yeah.
man, listen. I know we're going to get into things people have been playing and, potentially. But the thing is, he's just an interesting character. And when I played the game, I will say they would be foolish not to get behind this character. It's goofy, it's wacky, but there's heart. And I'll be honest. The cool thing, what was great about it for me was that that's why I'm so excited about it. Is because remember that was my first Yakuza game. That
Mhm.
Like a Dragon is my first, and I
Oh,
asked the
interesting.
hardcore. I said, "Look, I don't want to deem disrespectful. Should I play them in the sequence, right?" And they said, "Yeah, you could play them." But they was like a dragon, because I really wanted to play like a dragon. I was like, it's turn based. It's
Mhm.
it's speaking to
Mhm.
me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they like a dragon is kind of its separate thing. And to me, again, I went in there and we'll get into other stuff, but I will say, as a person who was new, I felt the reverence for the older stuff, and we'll get into that with these other announcements. And I was like, oh, I
Mhm.
know what this is now. Now it's more, it gives me more context. And now it makes me like, no, you got to go back because I want to know all these
I
other
was
stories.
talking to my friends about the same exact thing this morning. I went, I was thinking about Trails, and I went, I think my next series grind is probably going to be Yakuza now,
Yeah.
because there's just a lot there that they're connecting, it
Yes.
seems.
Yes.
Indeed. So I'm interested in this sequel. I'll talk about why later
Mm-hmm.
on. But let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about another Like a Dragon game. Like a Dragon, the man who erased his name, Kiryu, is back. This is a game that's an action adventure title tracking the events following Yakuza 6 leading into 8. So this is a really important story. A lot of people thought Kiryu's story was done. It's continuing, and they are, as I mentioned with Like a Dragon 8, bringing him back. I don't know, man. It's just a sign of weakness. They gotta
Ooh.
bring Kiryu back
Oh, I
this
see what
quick.
you're doing. I see what
I
you're
was
doing.
I'll say this. I watched the State of Play by myself. I was editing a video and I saw
Mm-hmm.
Kiryu back in the Ishin, which we'll talk about during the State of Play recap. And I went,
Mm-hmm.
already? I
Already.
thought Ichiban was the guy. Everyone was telling me Ichiban was the guy, but now we got Kiryu
Ooh.
back in everything.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Listen.
I don't know. Questionable faith in Ichiban, our new hero.
Oh, we doing Ichiban slander? Okay. Listen, man. He's the young gun. Right? And
Mhm.
Kiryu, look, legend. And I think they're doing it smart. I think they're
I
doing
am interested in all seriousness.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's cool because what it is, let's be honest, like I think they hedged their bet. Because I think part of it is like, yo, if Ichiban, we're gonna do this, we think this is cool, but we may piss off our core.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Think about like if it's Chief and Lot's a bad example, but that's actually a terrible example. Sorry, but it's like there's certain characters you like. Okay, we like Marcus Phoenix. Are they gonna go to Kate? You know what I mean? There's certain people like you don't know. So I think it was a safe thing. Well, if it don't do well, we still got Kiryu right here. We could tell what's going on with his story, and I like what's going on. The name of the title
Yes.
already that I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, this is gonna be fire.
Mhm.
And again, with some really specific callbacks to Like a Dragon. Oh man, I'm excited. I want to know, like they're building a little MCU to me. Like it's like a
They
little,
are. They
you know what I'm
are.
saying? Cinematic. I'm hyped. I want to see where it goes.
They're all in. I got to give them credit, man. The fact that there's going to be like 9 games in this series once all of them come out, and a lot of them are dropping next year, man. Good. That's awesome.
GG. Mm-hmm.
We got to talk about Kiryu's new haircut, though. Did you see that in the Yakuza 8 trailer, man? What was that?
What was that about? I don't know what's going on with these haircuts.
Silver, it's flat, comb over.
The comb over.
Give a man a stylist. It's like
Yeah,
him
he
and
definitely
Ichiban slots.
Yeah, Ichiban got the swag. I don't know what's going on right now. But we're gonna see. I'm hyped though. I'm hyped.
All right. Well, we have more to talk about with Yakuza throughout this whole show. Let's move on to the Lords of Gaming. Oh, wait, hold on. What do you got?
I thought there's one more. There's one
Is
more.
there?
We didn't talk about. Yeah, we didn't talk about.
Oh, Ishin. No, that's at the State of Play recap.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to make sure.
Sorry, I want to make
Okay,
sure everything.
Okay,
I
cool.
want
Yeah,
to
you
talk
making
about
it flow.
Kiryu
You
and
making it
about
flow, baby.
Yeah. Just
Do your thing.
no. Thank you for stopping me. We want to make sure the show's as good as possible. Of course.
No, I appreciate you.
As I was saying, though, let's talk about the Lords of Gaming. Thanks to a report over at lordsofgaming.net, we know of yet another departure hitting 343 Industries. It's a significant one. According to 2 sources who wish to remain anonymous, David Berger, director of engineering, will be leaving the company next. He's been with the company since 2008, leading the technical development of Halo 4, 5, and Infinite. He also served key roles in older Xbox classics such as 2 Human, Mech Warrior, and Shadowrun. Cog, this is all you, man. This is your site.
Yeah, man, it came across our desk, and I'm gonna be honest, like as much as people think I know everything, not all the time. And there's sometimes I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm sitting on this. let me, corroborate with a couple other things, and then we got some confirmation, and also big up to Jez Corden also who bigged us up
Hmm.
as well. Obviously, we got a shot from Kind of Funny and a couple other outlets which actually ran with the story as well. Look, it's one of those things when it broke. To me, and I always say this with corporate. Remember, I told you about that North Star and that vision, and
Yeah.
everyone kind of going towards that vision. And now, when Bonnie leaves, right, there's going to be a lot of people who are upset, or not upset is the wrong word. There are a lot of people who are going to be in aligned with the Bonnie vision, right? Whatever that was, and she's going to have her people, those ride or die, whether you want to say that they're protected by Bonnie or they just have the same visions. People use different verbiage, so I'm just being clear.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when now the regime change happens, there is a fallout, and people have to make a decision, and not everyone is going to remain. We've seen a little bit of it. I feel with I shouldn't say that's actually a bad example. I was gonna say I would say like you just see it. You see when remember Strain step down. You see certain people
Hmm.
follow out slowly, quietly, kind of thing. And I think that's what's going on here. For me, all I care about is the health of the game. That's just where
Yeah.
I'm at now. And listen, we've already talked about it. The Ultimate. Monty Ross, tremendous legacy. Out before the Halo stuff, right? Tremendous legacy. And then the Halo, yeah, she fought for Halo on the platform. I always going to give her that. But also, I'm going to be real with the resume. And the
Yeah.
resume says, 4, 5, Infinite. And we've all said ad nauseum how we feel about all three. We ain't got to get into all of that, right? So what I'm saying is, I'm willing to see the new direction, willing to see where this goes. I expect maybe some more fallout,
Yeah.
maybe,
Certainly.
right? It's going to still, we're in a transition. The other thing is people have to be clear. We said it ultimate as well. These type of changes do not expect overnight. Yo, Halo's banging now. It's hot. Like they got rid of the evil. Like,
Yeah.
calm down, everybody. Like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Where everybody wants this thing to be great. But these are the type of changes you won't see until like end of 2023, 2024, when things really start to shape out. And that's what I
Hmm.
would say. So for the people who want change, you got your wish. For the people who, there's going to be, I'm telling you right now, I'm hearing in the building, I got to be careful now. Now I do know stuff. All right. What I'm hearing in the building is people who are not happy, not necessarily 343, but potentially Microsoft. Body is respected. Be clear. Like,
Hmm.
this is legacy, right? So I don't know who
Not to
made the,
interrupt you. Do you mean not happy with the
yeah,
product or not happy with the state of the studio?
happy with Bonnie being let go.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, from my understanding, right, you know, but there's gonna be fallout because here's the thing: someone made the call. Now, me
Hmm.
and you both agree, and no disrespect to people's health reasons, the timing is a bit interesting.
I agree.
Okay,
Yes.
we could at least agree the timing is interesting. Not saying no one ain't got no medical stuff, not being disrespectful, but the timing is interesting. And from my experience, especially with a person who has cachet, a legend, it's like, yo, this is how we gonna do your exit. You feel what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
We ain't gonna lambast you. We ain't gonna hit you with the, you know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
someone made the call. Whoever that someone is, on the Microsoft side, there's going to be some anger based on the relationship, the history, the legacy. Now, the 343 side, from what I'm hearing, I'm going to be real. Yo, things was getting blocked. That regime was hating on stuff. We kind of happy that it's going this way. I'm just going to keep it real from things I hear. You know what I'm saying? So this is one of the rare things that Cox is not going to lie and say anything. I'm telling y'all, that's what I've heard. This is not, you know
There
what I'm saying?
it
This
is.
is just, I can give it to you as best as I can give it to you. That's it. And it's going to be interesting to see how they recoup. But to me, like my last point, I still respect it
Hmm.
because I've been on Duke, I've been on Sacred. I always said, I love hands-off approach. I love Microsoft allowing them to do what they do. But when you don't meet deliverables, someone has to be accountable. I'm not saying she's the face of everything that's wrong. She may have been, because think about it. Remember we talked about, like, she got let go. 3 people became, you call it the Hydra, right?
Hmm.
3 people.
Yes.
So now it becomes, maybe it was too much responsibility. And that blame goes around the board. We can't just throw her in. That's Microsoft. That's a lot of people. So that's what I want people to focus on here. See what the big picture is. See how they move forward from this. But at the end of the day, I personally think that whoever made the call was a ballsy move. That could not be easy to get a legend out like that. That cannot be easy. And to me, it still shows that there is repercussions. There are, if you don't, because this is 343, you're the biggest, you know what I'm saying? Microsoft's one of the biggest Microsoft. You got the iconic franchise. That means that also
arguably staff-wise, they're the biggest, right?
Yes, that also sets the precedent. Like, hey, Obsidian, I'm just saying, hey, Ninja Theory head, hey, there is something that could happen. You know what I'm saying? I feel overall.
Yeah, rightfully so. Not to be disrespectful, but you know, we'll get into it extensively. I mean, first of all, before I even get to my opinions on anything, sitting there like a proud dad, even though Cog, you're way beyond more successful than me. I just gotta say, man, like if anyone ever wonders why my man's on the show,
I appreciate
that moment right there, like the breakdown, the information, he didn't drop a fucking sentence there. That was masterful. I just got to give you your roses for a sec. Otherwise, though, man, yeah, you know, when there has to be these repercussions, we do live in the back patting age where it's okay. And someone's got to eventually be the bad guy. That's what sucks. And I don't know this exec who maybe called that shot, but you have to eventually say enough's enough. And a message has to be sent. You can't create this cushioned environment where you want them to be free creatively, but you have to have them understand you can't fuck up 4 games in a row, 3 games in a row. Right. I think that's a good message to send. Like, hey, look at the leash we gave 343 before we finally tug the chain a bit. That to me as a creative is okay. I have room to make an error. If the game doesn't pop off, I'm not going to lose my job, but there will be repercussions if I continue to mess up, as it should be. So we'll talk about it more extensively in the full write-up in what may be our first story, depending on the TGS stream.
Yeah.
But Cog, excellent insight as always, and I'm excited to discuss it further.
Yes.
Persona 5 Royal coming to Xbox this October on Game Pass. They also announced a brand new collector's edition over at Atlas called the One More Edition. I like this name because when you hit a crit, it'll say one more, and it's like the 3rd time they're doing a collector's edition. It's up for pre-order. It's $120. It comes with a treasure chest box, Grimoire art frame, Phantom Thieves art prints, a Akechi's briefcase bag, Arcana tarot card deck, a Persona 5 Royal Steelbook. This is a new one. The base game, and 40 plus items of DLC. The DLC is actually pretty important because that didn't come with the Royal Collector's Edition. So that is significant. That Akechi bag, though. Ooh, I already used the Shujin Academy bag for like little travel here and there. I got that with, I want to say that was the original Persona 5 Collector's Edition. Then they did the Phantom Thief mask. That's up on my desk. That's for the Royal. So I'm excited to expand my Persona 5 collection here. I pre-ordered it. It's my 3rd time buying the game. Some people ask why. Why? You already own it. I totally think that's a fair question, by the way. Because at the end of the day, it is complete fanboyish behavior. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not. But the reality is this, right? The collector's edition called my name. I was going to buy this on Xbox anyway, right? I've been trying to do the Xbox JRPG initiative.
My God, support.
Right. Did with Digimon Survive. I have yet to play it, but did it with Digimon Survive. Did it here with Persona 5 Royal. That was the plan, at least. Then I saw them announce a new collector's edition. I was like, I'm going to get this anyway, right? So that's why. Nothing really complex there. Just, you know, in my head, I said, I already have the Platinum on PS5 or PS4, sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and get it over here. I learned there's a separate Platinum. So it could be a 4th purchase in my future. We shall see.
Oh, yeah. It's going to make you go, wow. I didn't think about that. Yep.
Yeah.
They keep the continuity. Yeah. Okay.
Son of a bitch. They got me good. But anyway, coming out in October. So I'm sure you're excited to dive in finally.
Yeah. Got to support, bro. Got to support. I got to practice what I preach. I can't be talking about, we're the game, then they don't never. And then, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And we got more to talk about this.
I saw a stock count, by the way. It was very interesting how much stock Xbox had compared to the rest of PlayStation and Nintendo. Xbox only had about like 3,000 at one point.
Really?
And I think PlayStation was pushing 10. So 10-ish. And so that shows, you know, you usually maybe it depends on what the business thinks will sell over time. But I imagine you overestimate slightly. So then you have that cushion.
I
right?
like where you're going with this. Hold that thought. We're gonna revisit
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Octopath Traveler too, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. This is a cool update, though. September update for Xbox app on PC. So there's little things here like you can hit the view. I'm sorry, you can speed up or okay, no, it says the app startup time speeds up by 15% and the search results are 20% quicker. It's like, okay, cool. But what they added here was how long to beat integration. This is a site I use for almost every game I play in my backlog. You search up how long to beat Yakuza Like a Dragon just to get a rough estimate, a rough gauge, how long the main story will be, how long main story and side content will be, how long 100% completionist run will be. And these numbers are grabbed by a community and it kind of averages it out. So people will complete the game and look at their hour clock and say, that took me 84 hours to 100%. They go over to how long to beat, they input their data. What's really cool here is not only are they integrating that, so any game you're going to look at on the Xbox app will have that type of data, like how long the main story is, how long main story plus side content is, but also you can hit the view details button and submit your own times. So let's say you're playing Death Stranding and you go, oh, that took me 40 hours for just the main story. You can throw that information in there. And so it's going to grab a wider pool of people because it's going to be not this third-party thing, but integrated into Xbox's app. And the data will become more accurate. I will just let people know how long to beat isn't 100% spot on. You have to, I always say, give it the cushion of a 5-hour, 10-hour.
Got it.
Sometimes it'll mostly be accurate on the main story front, but that main story plus side content is a wide range because it depends on how much you want to indulge.
Absolutely.
So it's not always going to be 100% accurate. And as more numbers are put in, it's going to lower or raise how long it'll actually take you truly. So just keep in mind, it's not gospel, but this is something I hope more platforms take note of. I hope this is something they bring to Xbox as a console because I think this is fantastic. I really think having this data will help a lot of users just to be able to look and say, do I want to play this for a weekend? Do I want to play this for a month? Just having that choice, having that gauge. And for me, I math it out. I check out how long to beat. Okay, it's a 40-hour game. If I put like 5 hours in on most nights, I should be done with this in just about a week or so. Great. Okay, I can handle that. I think I got time for that based off the schedule. I just love that flexibility. But how do you feel about the latest updates on the Xbox app?
Yeah, no, this is dope. Anything towards the PC Xbox app, I'm always going to be a fan of, and I think this in general is a cool thing because sometimes you want to know, all right, the commitment. If I get into this game, what's it going to be? I love a stat like that. I love metrics like that. That's really helpful to the gamer. So yeah, I would love it on PC. Would love it to come to the Xbox console as well. Yeah, bring the integrate. It almost reminds me a little bit of even though it's not one-to-one, it kind of reminds me when they had the True Achievements integration into Xbox, and sometimes if you were stuck and stuff like that, just little things to help the player to get more information. I always think is a really cool thing. So yeah, for sure.
Indeed. Just got a couple of write-ins here before we talk about what games we are playing. Alex at Prime writes in, hey Dukes, as I hopped on Forza Horizon 5 with my steering wheel and pedal set last night, I suddenly remembered something. I purchased the Forza Horizon 5 Deluxe Edition or whatever it was called through Game Pass to get early access and DLC. There was quite a lot of speculation on how additional purchases in the Game Pass model would work pending a canceled sub. With titles rotating in and out of Game Pass, I'm wondering if it was ever explained or covered. Do you lose DLC, retain game across if a game rotates out? How can we protect our additional Game Pass purchases? Thanks, and after a long, hard day, I decided to fire up Game Pass on my PC, only to find out I needed to update the Xbox for PC app, which then locked me out of my account and required about 4 hours of tech support and reinstallations kind of day. Awfully specific, but awful day.
yeah, that's not a good one.
Yeah, so Alexander, this is official information over on the Xbox FAQ. I'll read their exact words just so that you can have their verbiage. Games and DLC will not be deleted from your hard drive until you want them gone, even if they've been rolled out of the Game Pass catalog. If you buy the DLC for a game and that game leaves the Xbox Game Pass catalog, your rights to the DLC will not be affected. So you will still have your DLC, even if it rotates out of the service. So you are fine.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I remember The Messenger, one of these cool indie games I played. Shout out to Sabotage Studios, love that. And I had the what was that? I think it's a Picnic something DLC. It was an
Mhm.
extra DLC they had for it, and then it went out of Game Pass, but it still said I had the DLC, and I was like, you know what? I love this game. I'm still picking it. It was like $20. I'll pick it up anyway once it ran out because I wanted to support them studio. Really cool.
Indeed. So there's your answer, Alexander. Let's talk with Aaron Omar. Kind of a good setup for us, indeed. Greetings, Dukes. I have to stress right off that I'm not here to clown on Maddie. Indeed, this is a rarity, it seems. I wanted to thank COG for introducing myself and many others to Yakuza Like a Dragon. 3 weeks and 1 platinum later, this is now my personal game of the year. Again, thank you for continuing to champion this wonderful experience. Try not to have a I died on the final floor of the true final Millennium Tower kind of day.
Bro, I know
I heard that
life.
thing is tough. I heard that
Bro,
thing's tough.
I know that life. Yes.
Mhm.
I did it, but woo!
You did it? Oh, interesting. Yeah, I heard
I
it's
did
tough.
that. It's no joke. It is no joke. Salute to them. I like to hear these stories.
A couple
you know
people
what
wrote
I'm
him with
saying?
that.
Yeah. So let's get into forget all these pleasantry. Let's see a theme that's happening. Let's switch it up. I want to know what's going on with you, Maddie. What have you been playing, sir?
Yeah, let's get into it, shall we? All right,
let's do
so I've been playing Yakuza Like a Dragon. I've been playing Yakuza Like a Dragon. To my shock and awe, I just need to say one thing. I want to come across sensitive.
Okay.
I saw some people questioning my genuine integrity as a human being because of this. I want people to know I was teasing COG because I was finishing Trails, which he knew. I'm not going to speak for him, but this was not me being an asshole to COG.
Yes.
I'm sad I have to explain this. It was a video game joke bet, but I don't want anyone thinking I'm an actual prick over this.
Yeah, no, for real. And I want to actually apologize too, because part of my joke to put the pressure back on with our joke bet was I went this integrity line lane, like so a little flow with it, and dudes took it to heart. They was riding for me. I'm like, oh no, I didn't want to go like that. Like the man ain't got no integrity, and now it's gonna come from it. It wasn't like that. It was jokes or the sense of a joke bet. That's what it is. But fair enough. Again, first of all, I'm glad you did it. That's number one. Number two, he's a stand-up dude. Good dude. This is my guy right here. So yeah, we're not going to do that, LSM community. Y'all can tease, but we're not going to come for the man's character and act like he's a sly boy. Yeah. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this man. So salute. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy. We dukes together. That's my guy. So that's it. But let's get to the fun.
Let's get into it.
I want to be quiet. I want to listen.
I've been thinking as I've been playing how I want to jump into this because this is such a wildly different game than what I expected in multiple fronts. First of all, you got to remember, I'm coming from Trails, and this is a very serious series where it just tells a pretty gritty story at times. It's all about world building, serious characters. It has its humorous moments, but they're few and far between, in my opinion. So diving headfirst into a game that's all satire ridden, it did take some adjusting because I gotta be honest, in the opening hours I was kind of annoyed. I'm like, everyone's telling me, you know me, you know I'm gonna love this. This man went to prison for 18 fucking years because he's a simp. That's what happened. That's the story set up. And I'm sitting here thinking, what? Even in satire, I don't know if I can get behind this because it's just there are moments the game's serious, it's well acted. I'm like, oh, I'm into this. I'm feeling these characters. I'm feeling the heart. But then he does something like that doesn't make any sense. Like, why is this what we use to set up the story? So I check myself, right? I take a break after an 8-hour session. I take a break and I go, all right. Sometimes when you just play a game for too long, I might have just been overthinking, overcritical. There's no way I'm going to dislike this, right? Because that's where I was at. I was like, I'm not liking this right now. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, let me collect myself and accept it for what it is. Because I think my expectations were off. You got to remember, this is not my first. So I've played Kiwami 1 and 2. They have their humorous moments that are usually reserved in the sub-stories.
Right.
And that's where it's always at. The main story, though, I loved because it was like the perfect balance. It's like, this is a hard, grueling Yakuza tale. I love Kiwami 1 so much. So for me, when I hopped into the main story, I rather the game in general, that's what I was thinking was going to happen. That the main story would be serious and the sub-stories would be comedic. The whole game is a joke, honestly. It ramps up and goes into more serious territory, but it's just consistent ridiculousness, right? We already heard Ichiban big Dragon Quest guy to the point where enemies are redesigned on the spot because he's just imagining them that way. I'm like, okay, let me accelerate a bit.
Oh, let's go.
Get into when I really turned the corner.
Okay. I'm curious.
The job system. Because I feel like I wouldn't have cared if the story was ridiculous if I didn't feel so limited. I just felt very restrained. I don't like games that you could just tell this was a 4-player party type of game, right? You were going to have a party of 4 as you go on your adventure, and you start off on 1, move up to 2, move back to 1, move up to 2 again, crawl your way to 3. You have 3 for a while, then you finally get 4. This is something I've critiqued various JRPGs and RPGs for. It's because the game balancing is created for 4 in mind. So some battles, while they were fair, like I wasn't losing them, they'll take way longer than they should because you have like a party member or 2 party members. And I think that's one thing that just offset me is I wanted to be free. I wanted to have that flexibility, have the party, get into the actual rhythm. Once you get Sayako, you got your 4th party member. I was like, okay, starting to feel this a lot more. I'm feeling the tactical ripples. You know, we have a character that heals and buffs. We have the hobo who's debuffing. He's got
Namba.
Yeah, love Namba. You got the spells with the pigeon raid. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel it now. It's the way though, and the reason I want to talk about the job system is because this is actually where I think the story, I went, this is actually a little smart. It's actually kind of smart because obviously I don't want to spoil everything. But what ends up happening is, you know, our man Ichiban kind of loses everything. He's got to rebuild himself. So you start off with your hobo friend Nanba. You go to get a job, and you end up doing these odd jobs that pull in different elements of the story. I'm like, okay.
Shout out to Hello Work.
Yeah, right. It starts to feel randomized, but then you go back to Hello Work because you've built up your resume, and it actually is a job system. And I'm sitting there like, wait, I could just be any of these classes, and you could change the outfits. Like I gave Adachi a Kiryu outfit. I went, okay, I'm feeling this now. As the game reveals itself more, I am liking it more. It's just those early going, man. It's coming from someone who's been going back to back with Trails games. It's not even like it was accelerated. Trails is morbidly slow. It's just like this, man. I was very surprised with the pacing. I was very surprised with how little it took itself seriously, which again, that's a me thing. I had to adjust to what the game wanted to be, and that's fine because I like it for it. But I'll conclude my thoughts here because I want to see what you think of my thoughts.
Yeah, I got thoughts.
The turn-based gameplay, I don't think I'm sold on yet. And that's, I'm like you, I'm king turn-based as well, and
break it down.
It just feels right now like we took an action game and put contextual actions over it. So you select a move, you mash X, and you do your damage. It just feels methodical might be the right word, although I'm not too sure. And almost laborious back and forth. And it doesn't feel like it was built to be turn-based in mind. It's almost like they took this they took this action game and broke it down into turns. And that to me doesn't feel like a true turn-based game, like your Octopath, like your Persona.
That's valid.
And that's the reason it stuck out to me was, of all things, the camera. There are times the camera clips into the wall and the battle arenas. I love that they happen wherever, but also there are just certain alleyways that aren't built for 8-player battles. It just doesn't work. So I do hope in the sequel they expand some of the environments just a little. I doubt they will because they reuse the map endlessly, but I hope they expand a little bit. I like that this new map is much bigger, although I'm team Kamurocho right now. I got to say, I do like Kamurocho more, not even nostalgia. I just think it's more vibrant. It's more catchy. Nice. I love the tight knit feeling of it all. It's refreshing, but this is still good. But those are kind of my general thoughts right now after 15 hours. Oh, last thing. I want to shout out XCloud. The way I started this game was I was watching some football on the couch and I went, okay, it's time to start it. How do I want to do this? I want to watch football. And I said, let me fire up the Steam Deck, fire up XCloud Gaming. This is a magnificent XCloud game. I mean, I cannot emphasize it enough. If you feel like you might take a while to get through this, this will accelerate your playthrough. Not all 15 of those hours were done on the TV. A lot of them were, but 3 of those hours initially were all done on the Steam Deck. And there was a time I literally forgot that I was playing on the cloud. It was insane how native it felt. So just shout out to XCloud, how far it's come.
Mm-hmm.
This is on my home internet, home wireless internet. I was very blown away. But those are my thoughts on Like a Dragon so far. I'm playing other things that I'll talk about, but I want to give it to you here.
Yeah, nah, man, this is interesting. I think that there's some valid points there. I think that I didn't know what to expect coming into it like you, and it does not take itself very seriously off the rip. Like it literally does. I will say on the flip side, I would tell you to do two things. The side quests, but to be honest, the ones where it really sold me over is when you get unlock the bar for the crew. Unlock the bar for the crew and start doing those interactions. And what'll happen is you can build relationships there, but through another little system. I know you got the job system. There's another and there's a synergy system. So the more you guys build in this thing, it affects the turn-based relationship, and you'll do
That's
more
very
actions.
Persona.
Yeah, it's so do the bar. Oh, trust me when I tell you, and then
I noticed there were follow-up attacks at times. I'm like, why are they doing those? Okay.
Yeah, because of the relationship rating that you have per character. I'm with you. The jobs really opened it up for me. It got transformative for me. Like Adachi, I kept his because he's got a very don't sleep on his standard one. That counter thing, he just gets into a stance. He can stop almost everything. Like he gets to sit there and he gets into an auto.
I made him the bodyguard, and I can't find a new weapon for him, so I was thinking about bouncing him back.
There are some jobs that are extremely powerful, like extreme. When you get other characters, and we'll talk and stuff like that.
I gave Ichiban the armor with the
armor. You did the jacket. You went all out.
Yeah.
Okay, you went all out. Yeah. Salute. Like, listen, there's gonna be some stuff. Or I just hope you. There's one thing that I need you to experience though, because this is what I said. Okay, this game is absolutely ridiculous. This is the wildest thing, but I am loving it. I don't want to. You gonna get something called Pound Mates.
Oh yeah, I got those. Yeah, I got those. Those are off the chain, man. That's what I love about the franchise, though. Like the ridiculousness has always been there. This game just cranks it up a lot more than I expected.
Well, absolutely. And coming from where you came from, I can see how you like, yo, what is going on? And it might not, be for everybody, but stick it through. And I will say, again, I thought it was just going to be a complete parody. And as it goes on, again, do the what you call the bar stuff.
Yeah.
There's going to be moments of some serious heart. And I'm just like, whoa.
Did you play in Japanese or English, by the way?
I did play in English. I've
been trying it because I played, obviously, they've all only been available in Japanese. I wanted to try English, and I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. Because the thing is, the last thing I'll say is that what I love the game, besides it not taking it so serious, and Ichiban is a bit ridiculous. Let's just call it what it is. But I love that everyone around him knows he's ridiculous.
That's true. Yeah.
And there's gonna be some stuff, but I'm glad you tried it. I'm
sticking with it. I'm gonna finish it because at first I thought it was gonna be in Team Drop, which is rare.
Yes.
I do want to play Digimon. I want to play The Somnium Files. Those are 2 games, and Ghostwire Tokyo. Those are 3 games I want to know if will these make the game of the year cut at all. Right. But this is what I want to see through. I'm enjoying enough, and I'm 6 chapters deep now. I unlocked the management mini game, so it's
gotcha.
Like, I'm enjoying it.
Wait, you unlocked the property joint?
Yeah.
Oh,
the whole other game.
Whatever you do, the shareholders meeting is about to begin. Make sure you do what you got to do in that game. There's a lot of things to get for mastering that game. That will literally, because the end game, there's going to be a part. I'm just going to tell you right now, the game going to ramp. And there's going to be certain things, I'm telling you, I highly implore you. I told this to Attic. Do that. The shareholders meetings are about to begin. Bro, I'm telling you, master that. There's things you get out of that.
Do I need it to beat the game? Are you saying, or?
You can still beat the game. I'm just saying it really helps. It really helps. Characters and abilities and
okay. Bro, I will investigate.
I will tell you right now.
There's nothing quite like it though. That's why I'm sticking with it. I feel I will like it a lot by right now. We're talking 15 hours where things have just opened up and I'm liking it. I can see a trajectory where I end up loving it. We'll see if that ends up being the case.
Last one, who was the last character you got to the party, if you remember? Just
I was just Sayako was the last actual party member, but I
Okay,
met someone who
right.
I think is a future party member. He had like the black mask. He freed me from my chains. Seems like my kind of character. Yeah.
That's my man, Google. Huh? Okay, I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. Okay, that's
Yeah.
my man's. All right, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, some stuff. We'll talk. What else you been playing, sir?
I'll keep it brief because I've talked for a
Yes.
while. Trails of Cold Steel 3. This has been an experience. I am 20 hours into this. I did stop it to go play Like a Dragon because I hit a good stopping point. I was on chapter 2. I went, okay, I'm going to get deep into Like a Dragon. We're going to on and off it. This has been so wonderful strictly because I've played Cold Steel 1 and 2, and they're their own games, their own story. But 3 is where everything I've been playing this year, y'all have heard me talk about Sky SC, Sky the Third, Zero, Azure. Zero comes out this month, by the way. All of them are coming together here in this game. And it is insane how much better it makes the game. I couldn't fathom, like I was playing the game and I've had at least 20, no exaggeration, different moments where I sat there and went, if I didn't know anything about those older games, that would have gone way over my head. It would have made no sense and it would have been so frustrating to play. If anyone has even played Cold Steel 3, 4, and you sit there and think, oh, do I enjoy it anyway? You don't even know. And I will leave it at that until I get deeper and have more thoughts to share. Last thing, played Fallout 76 to try out The Pit. The Pit came out. The Pit's one of my top 5 favorite DLC. I put a whole review out on my channel. So if you want the more long-winded Fallout fanboy breakdown, you can get it over there. I just want to make it clear. I didn't go into this expecting it to be this hub open world with new quests and tons of gameplay options. It very much was told to you, this is kind of going to be Fallout's raid. The problem here is the storytelling has become downright unimaginative, which is that is sad. Like Fallout is such a vibrant, pardon, it's technically not, but the actual lore is vibrant, rich, and the pocket that 76 is in its timeline gave it a chance to actually do something like fresh and new. Because just to get into my Fallout lore back just for a moment here.
Oh no, let's go.
20 years before Fallout 3, the Scourge happens. That's where the Brotherhood of Steel combs through the pit, wipe out the Raiders. They bring home these children. You'll see them running around the Citadel in Fallout 3. The game inherently sets up its own DLC. This is peppered throughout the whole franchise. You have the Replicated Man side quest over in Rivet City. It's there you learn about synths. Guess what? They built a whole goddamn game off of that in Fallout 4. You hear in the Cabot house about the Mojave, possibly setting something else up there. In Fallout 4, you can go to the XIII, which is effectively a Chinese submarine, and they kind of tease what's going on over in China in the Fallout universe. The core Fallout games always are dense and rich with lore because they're setting up opportunities for themselves. Fallout 76 has none of that. So when they try to go outwards, they just recycle the same set of characters or factions you've seen. So here come the Responders, another set of Wastelanders that you've known about this faction since the game first came out. But now this is your introduction to them. No defining characteristics. They're a disaster relief program, but I'm talking about no core character. At least even with like Brotherhood of Steel, when they brought them back, there were core characters and they were going against each other. One side said, we got to go with the Wastelanders. One side said, no, we're going with the Raiders. We need power. So at least there was diverging personalities. Here's just another Wastelander go kill the Raiders story. And it's just, it's so light side versus dark side Star Wars energy. And it's frustrating because it could be so much more. Plus, and this is where I do say, watch the review, it's still broken. And that was the most heartbreaking part of it all.
No.
So the core game's been improved, but Expeditions does not work. And I have multiple minutes of footage throughout this video of me just sitting there shooting enemies and them not returning fire, them not engaging. It's bad. This game's got to be taken out back soon, I think, because I know they're investing in it, right? They got 011, but I look at things like this, the story, the gameplay, the AI non-function. I'm like, you can't tell me the game development isn't easy. So they're trying, but you can't tell me this is an inspired effort. You can't tell me that this isn't a game that's just putting out content for the sake of it existing, because they know they can't charge. So they can't do anything bombastic like, say, Destiny would do, because they know they'll get torn apart. So they have to give it out for free, which this is a free update.
Right.
But because it's free, they're very limited. It's just, it's a recipe for disaster. So it's not good. It's unfortunately not good.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. I was hoping the story would be a little better. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, damn, 76. But it is what it is.
It's all you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I'll jump in. For me right now, I've been in my cyberpunk bag, man. I've been really been in my
Love
bag.
to hear that.
Yeah, man. I've got the fever. I gotta shout out Edge Runners though, because Edge Runners really got me into it. I saw the 2 episodes now, the Netflix series. I highly recommend it. People are now seeing it now, and they're like, "Yo, Cog, you were right. Yo, this joint is
Yeah, I want
fire,
to watch it. Yeah.
bro. It's really good." And then they got some missions that are now incorporated into Cyberpunk. I
Mm-hmm.
will say it feels good coming back because graphically, this game is still a looker. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
haven't really played it since the next gen update. I didn't play it because
Oh.
it was the year. So now it's like brand new. I'm like, man, this game is beautiful looking. Like I'm actually like, yo.
Mhm.
Here's the other thing, So while I'm doing that and doing my edge runner missions, doing my builds, working on my hacking, my intelligence, my cyber running, all that good stuff,
Yes, sir.
getting my body up, getting my hand to hand. I'm starting like hand to hand. I'm doing a different type of
You
character
got
now.
to get the gorilla arms, man. They're the most
Oh yeah.
satisfying.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
it's awesome. Yeah, you
Yeah.
just you can
Okay.
if you ramp up your strength and you put them on, you can do a strong attack and you send them flying. It's
I
so
think I'm
good.
doing that whole build now. Before it was about the gunplay, you know, ninja, of course, sneaking stealth. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm always gonna have something. I'm always gonna have that skill. What do they call it? The cool. I'm
The
always gonna
quick
have that.
hacking. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have, and I'm gonna have a quick hack because the tech in me gotta still do that.
of course.
But it's something about their hand to hand and the
Mhm.
visceral. I like it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I like this build. I'm gonna
Mhm.
really dig deeper on that build. But what I want to give them credit for, this is a side note, I wanted to see if this cross progression situation when it was going on.
Mhm.
So I've been playing on Little Man. I've been playing on Series X. I was taking a quick resume. Everything's nice. I got my saves. So I logged in, registered my joint. Was it GOG or whatever it is? Got the Steam Deck version. So
Okay.
okay, all right, we'll do the Steam Deck. Now, granted, 30 frames per second. I ain't gonna blow. I could do 60, but it didn't look that good. I put all the settings up and I went 30 on Steam Deck. So I'm
Mhm.
like, all right, cool, bro. Exactly where I left off. And I
Wow.
went back and forth
Did
from Steam Deck
you
to Xbox.
I didn't get to test this.
Let's
Did
go.
you get your achievements on Steam when you loaded in the
I did not yet.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So, but in defense of Steam Deck, what I notice happens is it'll pop up in one shot once it syncs to the cloud server sometimes. And what I did is I sank it and then I tug off wireless and then I went off. I think I had like an appointment or something I was doing. I
Got
took the
you.
Steam Deck with me. So in defense of the Steam Deck, I need to come back, turn it back on and see if they all
Yeah,
pop.
because I have
Yeah.
a pretty complete playthrough of Cyberpunk, and I have a PS4 copy. I'm like, I forgot to, but I want to take it home and see if I can get the platinum just for free because I already
Yeah.
put the hours in. I don't mind playing it again, but I was just curious if you knew. Please continue.
Yeah, no, that I don't know. So I'll get back to you on that one. But yeah, but doing Edge Runners, I'm excited about that. So Cyberpunk has taken back over, and then yeah, other than that, been doing still, bro. We gonna talk.
Oh, we
Tekken is
are.
outside. Tekken is outside, and but I told you I had to. I must have knew it was coming because I had the fever again. And I've been playing like crazy on Steam Deck and 7. Now I've been playing on the Xbox crazy. Now that I'm home, just sharpening the skills, and we know why. So we'll get into that. And then obviously, last is of course my Destiny. Just been trying to get my King's Fall raid, one of the best raids back. Got some great weapons.
That's how out of touch I am. I saw that. And I was like, what the hell is King's Fall?
Yeah, bro. King's Fall, man. That raid, it's its own thing. And just rocking with the homies, running that thing, running new people through a raid for the first time. Man, LSM people hit me up with joining them to the clan.
Nice.
Having my Sherpas run them through, do their first raid clear, stuff like that. And the advice I give you, I know you guys ask all the time, it's only 100 members. Sadly, it's so intense right now. I literally have to take attendance based on the last time a person logged in. And if you've been gone for more than 2 months, it's a 2-month threshold now. If you haven't logged in 2 months, then you got to go. I got to free it up. We need that activity. So that's what it is. So for the people who are asking, we're still full again. Just hit me up, check in every Tuesday and I'll let you know how it goes.
Every Tuesday.
On reset. Yeah. It's been, people got the Destiny fever. They got the fever right now.
I have to say, as I said last week, I am excited to dive in when the new stuff drops
Lightfall.
next year. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you know what's safe and what they truly did to onboard new players and give people a thorough story that has missed out. So
I just want a good FPS, man. Like it just everyone says it's the best feeling one out there.
oh yeah,
I got to give it a shot. So I'm excited to try, but I'm gonna hold off till the
that Lightfall.
beginner's patch is ready.
Yes, Lightfall is incorporated with that whole thing.
Nice. All right, perfect. We got a couple of questions. We'll get into the main news. Phil Walker, hot topic in the LSM DD community here. Hey, Dukes, seeing Octopath 2 skipping Xbox sinks my heart. You discussed on your Japanese episode that it's the support from the new releases, which will prove if Xbox can be serious about JRPGs. This feels like a disappointing blow already. Cheers, Phil. So, yes, the week after, I want to just give everyone a recap. The week after that Xbox showcase with Persona, you and I said, they got to keep it consistent. I don't know. Now that we're separate from the event where I was very hyped with Persona, but now we're separated from that event, I don't know if I've bought in yet. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection comes around. Now Octopath. And Octopath, you might scratch your head at if you don't know the history. So let's break it down, and then I want to dish it to Cog. Octopath Traveler, the first one, was a Nintendo Switch exclusive. It made its way to PC, and then it made its way to Xbox, where it's available on Game Pass. Now, I don't know about you. Before anyone argues otherwise, I don't think this is a good gauge to see how a true Octopath Traveler release would perform on Xbox. You're far away from the game's release date. You've already staggered it out to consoles. It sold millions of copies on Switch, so they already had the benefit of, taking most of the sales of people who were interested in. So you just had Game Pass and it was available on Xbox. Then Octopath Traveler 2 was announced at the Nintendo Direct, which we'll talk about in detail, like what this game looks like, how we feel about it, but we'll talk about business first. Now it was announced there. The difference here is, again, coming to Switch. That's the consistency. However, no Xbox, but it's coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, as well as PC. Perhaps even more of a head scratcher is that Octopath Traveler 1, as of the moment of recording this, is not on PlayStation. I don't even know if I can point the finger at Xbox, Square Enix, PlayStation. I don't know if Xbox just failed to follow up, because that would be a good narrative. It's happened in the past. I don't know if it's PlayStation buying them out. That's happened in the past. I don't know if it's Square Enix being, I gotta say it, fucking weird. That's happened many times in the past. It could be any one of these three scenarios. I just think Sony and Square are indeed familiar bedfellows, and I just think that partnership is continuing on, and Sony is going to reap the benefits of that. Certainly, Square is familiar with JRPG performance over on PlayStation. It's the reason why they just keep redoing that deal. Their games sell over there. But if that is the case, I can't say it was a fair shake for Xbox. I can't sit here with a straight face and be like, yeah, we found out. We played around and found out. You dropped the game like 3 years after its release on Game Pass. No one's going to buy it. I don't know how else to say it. No one's going to buy it. So maybe it eventually makes its way to Game Pass and Xbox. I don't know. But Cog, this is indeed disappointing. Is the JRPG narrative for Xbox in jeopardy here?
First thing I'll say is, all I kept hearing was your voice in my head. And I was just like, this is where I'm gonna have to deal. See, you had your Yakuza drama that you had to do with me. I had the Japanese releases on Xbox. I'm like, Cox, like, yo, corners turning, bro. Things are happening. And they are, you know what I'm saying? I got to defend myself a little bit. They are turning, but it's just like, but Maddie kept saying, bro, I don't know. I need to see new releases. That was the Maddie's voice I kept hearing in my head when that news came out. And I'm just like, what is going on? This is the strangest thing to me. And I got a theory. I think I'm trying to piece it together. The thing that makes absolutely no sense, though, let's get it out the way, is that this game was not on PlayStation, part one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to put myself in the logic. And look, fair is fair. If Xbox is not doing what they're supposed to do when that comes out, then they got to get the smoke.
Yeah,
Period.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Period.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
gonna get the smoke. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna baby them. Then there's a part of me that's like, okay, let's look at this logically. Octopath One, like you eloquently described, right? It came out with Switch first. Was it then PC or Switch and PC at the same time? And
It
then
was
Xbox
Switch
came out.
first, then PC.
Then PC. So they got the Switch back. They made or whoever contractually asked for it, Switch, pay, whatever, a bag or whatever. Because let's be honest, it was exclusive kind of to Switch at that point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then here come PC. Now here comes Xbox, right? So what that leads me to believe is that Square is comfortable with the Game Pass bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this with Outriders. We've seen this with a few things. They're comfortable with the Game Pass bag. So now I'm like, okay, it's on Game Pass. For people who say, the sales are bad or whatever, of course the sales are going to be bad. It's in their business model service. The whole purpose of getting the service is to subscribe so you can get the game. It's not so that, I'm going to get the service and I'm also looking for all this massive sales that's going to compare to Sony and Nintendo. It's just not, that's not how the economics of this works. It's get into the service. That's Xbox's model. So here comes part two. Now, part two, now it hits PlayStation, right? Now it hits all the other platforms except Xbox, right? My new theory is I've always said, in my opinion, Square is the biggest mercenaries out here. I've been consistent. They will sit there and utilize who wants what, and they will take a bag from whoever for exclusivity, for a character, for a whole game. Now, the thing that is weird to me, Square, I gotta give y'all some smoke. It's fine. If you took the bag, fine. But you have now broken up the continuity of a series. You've broken up so to me, it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
Hurts the series itself.
Yeah, you're hurting the game because you now have Xbox guys who fell in love with this game, expecting to play the sequel, can't play the sequel, right? Fine. And I get it for people who say, well, Carl, maybe the sales just ain't what it is, and they're not happy with that. And that very may well be true. But you knew coming in, right, that you took a Game Pass bag. So the only logical conclusion I can come up with, and again, if I'm wrong, I'm just guessing, but this is my conclusion, is that they themselves say, okay, from a pure business, no ego. If we put it on Sony and we put it on Nintendo, we are going to get the retail numbers that we are comfortable with, right? If we put it on Xbox, we may not. So we're going to hedge our bet and say, Xbox, if you want this, this is the price. And Xbox potentially could have been like, not at that price, bro. Like, we just did the deal at this price. Let's keep it consistent. And now Square may have came back to the table because it doesn't make sense how Xbox is not involved on this. In my opinion, to me, it has to be some level of disconnect. It's either Square saying, we're not giving it to you because we don't think it's going to perform, which could be true. And if you want it, give us what you gave us with that Octopath One with the Game Pass bag.
Yeah.
What you going to say? You feel like you're going to say something?
Oh, no, I was just thinking that inherently the situation suggests that Square Enix wants to go wider with the series. Okay, we had a multi-million seller for this pixel art game over here on Switch. Triangle Strategy was a tremendous success as well. This HD 2D era is strong for them. Live Alive was strong for them as well. Just because, again, people love this type of game. We're in an era of fidelity, so it's time to deliver these types of games. And Square Enix is known for the 16-bit era. So for them to go wide and say, okay, instead of just Switch, we're going to do multiple consoles. I don't know if you even resource factor in Xbox there. You don't just go, do we want to hedge our bets on retail? Like you were saying with PlayStation and Switch, we'll definitely see numbers there. To me, I see Xbox as the additive. It's okay. We know we're going to get the base value from probably these two parties. What if it does well on Xbox? If that were the actual situation, then I just feel Xbox has to be this additive system that you support because you're trying to go wide with it. You're trying to spread awareness on it. They did a mobile game, by the way, Champions of the Continent. So they're trying to make Octopath Traveler into something. That's why it just doesn't add up. Someone's in the wrong here. Someone's in the wrong. To know who.
Yeah, that's literally the end of it. I was just gonna say again, I don't have I'm not privy to all the information. I can just go by what I see, but I agree. It's either Square is definitely in the wrong, and they are valuing the monetization of what bag they can get, and they may have upped the price on Xbox, or
Mhm.
fair is fair. Xbox didn't try hard enough,
I'll also
right?
throw out the theory that they may just know that they can extend their monetization by taking the Game Pass bag way later. Like, okay, we're going to
Yes,
get, like, it's kind of tailing off
yes,
basically what you said, right? Okay, we're
yeah,
going to get the retail. We know it's going to be fine. If we need more
yep,
money, we got the Game
right.
Pass money.
It is like the safe thing because it's like, yo, we'll get it. But the thing that doesn't make sense, Square, where you're gonna get the smoke though, why didn't you put Octopath One on PlayStation?
That's true.
That makes no sense, Square.
Yeah.
Like again, so it is your greed that much? Was the Game Pass bag for Octopath so overwhelming that you was able to omit the entire PlayStation
Mhm.
base? You make no sense.
Mhm.
That's what I'm trying to say. So part of me is leaning towards Square. Is just the mercenaries of the industry.
Yes, sir.
If the bag is big, they're going to do. That's where I'm leaning. I don't have all the facts. If Xbox, you didn't,
Xbox.
bro, if you didn't fight to get this, you gonna get it. Don't let the stories come out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm gonna be bad. This
Won't
is
let
a
them.
bad look. This is a
It
bad
is.
look. It's a
It
bad
is
look.
very discouraging.
Mm-hmm.
Another hot topic in the DD community comes from Tie Dye. What up, Dukes? With the recent news of Goldeneye coming to Game Pass and Nintendo Switch Online, what do you think about online multiplayer being Switch only? It's a shame being locked behind the expansion pass and won't see much activity as if it were on Game Pass for everyone. I also don't trust Nintendo's online. Do you guys think this hurts what could have been a very cool release? So I did some research on this because when I saw it, my initial response was legality be damned. I know this was tough to get out, but what the hell? So it turns out that even the original Xbox Live arcade version from years ago that leaked online that is playable, that actually didn't have multiplayer either. So it was never in the cards. This was apparently that very same version. However, what you're going to be playing on Switch Online is this is rare. This is a rare, crafty Nintendo technical W. But due to the emulation, there is a workaround where they are able to bring in multiple people to play online together just by nature of the Nintendo Switch Online service itself. It is very different from what will be happening over on Xbox, which will be a separate SKU where they would have to build in the multiplayer infrastructure and servers, which I guess they do not see value in. That part is particularly surprising for me. I felt this may be worth the dive to revive something because I don't know if they didn't anticipate it, but when that was announced, man, inescapable all over Twitter. But that is what my research has gleaned. This is thanks to the emulator over on Switch Online. It is not something that Xbox or Rare or anyone involved in working on this wanted to invest in to set up the multiplayer. And what happens now is you're really just left with the conversation of, well, why would you play the Xbox version when you could play the multiplayer over on Switch? So it's sad, but that is what it is. So, Cog, what did you think about seeing GoldenEye finally announced? We've talked about it a ton here.
Mm-hmm.
It's finally announced, but it comes with a bit of a caveat.
I mean, I don't got too much to add. You nailed it. Like that's literally it. And it's unfortunate because this now has killed all my anticipation. I'm not interested. I'm gonna be honest. I am not interested in local co-op of that version of the game on Xbox. And look, I gotta be fair. Like Nintendo, I love you, but I do not like your online.
Oh,
I
no.
don't anything about it. I don't like your friend list. It's a glorified stalker list. You can't talk to no one. You can't chat nobody. It's just, hey, he logged on today. Like that's literally what it is. Like it no, I'm not a fan. I don't want to have anything to do with that. I'm not hooking up the six wires in the string and the care and the cord. I'm not doing it. Mm-mm. So y'all just lost me on this one. I would prefer to play that on Xbox. Now the only time I bent the knee was with Marvel Ultimate Alliance. That's my heart. I was
Yes,
like, all right,
sir.
Nintendo, you got me. I love that, and it looked good. I was like, all right, cool. And I dealt with I had to jump in an Xbox Live party chat to play that game. So, bro, like, no, Nintendo, no. I mean, I get it. This is the technical issue. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, but I'm not interested, bro. I'm
Mhm.
not doing that. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I hate their online. And no one holds their feet to the fire. No one says Nintendo, this is Yo, Wii U had online features that you regress now with this. What's going on?
Mhm.
Don't get me started on Nintendo. I love
Don't
them,
get
but
me started.
sometimes, Grandpa Nintendo, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yep. I'm with you. So that's what's happening with Goldeneye. It's a shame, but it is still coming to Game Pass. You'll be able to play the single player campaign, get your achievements on. I've actually never played the single player part, so I might give it a
Say
go.
this.
See what's going on.
Best pause music in gaming history.
Oh yeah,
That's right now.
that video, the guy like vibing
My
out.
man, Max can stick. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, what's that?
So good.
Fire.
All right, now we are either going to transition into what's going on with the Tokyo Game Show, depending on what is there, or we're going to get into Halo Infinite. We shall see. Good morning, Cog.
Good
How are we doing?
morning. Good morning. Let's stand a little sound there. like you materializing and stuff.
Feeling good today. We decided to put
Feeling
this at the front of the show. It was a pretty good showing by Xbox in Tokyo at 5 a.m. We're here now at 9 a.m. Got a good amount of sleep last night, man. I was just telling you before. Went to bed at 12. I was like, what is going on? 12?
Yeah, that's
I
not
got a
like
couple
you.
more hours in me. Yeah, man. I'm usually up till 3. I'm just grinding away. But 12 it was. Got some nice rest. And I'm feeling good for today's show, part 2.
Yeah, I'm feeling really good, man. I can't wait to watch the splice because what my thoughts and how I felt coming in. We got stuff to talk about.
Indeed, it seems I was wrong about Starfield, but we got plenty of other things.
Yes.
So let's get started, shall we? For those who didn't remember, this is our pickup. We're recording this separately from the rest of the show because we wanted to see what's happening at Xbox's Tokyo Game Show. So let's get started. It opens up with the trailer for Persona 5 Royal. Again, this is coming to Game Pass in October. No new content announced, just a reminder, hey, it is on the way. So nothing really to add there because we had talked about Persona pretty extensively this show. Afterwards, they continued their partnership with Team Ninja, a developer that comes up quite a bit in this episode, where they talked about Wo Long, Fallen Dynasty. There was an interview with the developers. Now, Cog, you had a chance to sit down and watch some of the show. So did you lay eyes on this one?
Yeah. So I watched probably the majority of the first half of it. And I just want to step back for a second because I thought what was iconic was Phil comes out on stage. First of all, they're there. All right, I don't want to minimize this. Like, they are there. Him, Sarah Bond separately, the actual show itself, the presentation, extremely nice. Bam, bam, fast hit. They did their talking about what they want to do overall, overarching and stuff. But with the Persona thing, I like that they were like iconic franchises like Persona. And so to me, when I see them go out front stage with that, that signifies, oh, no. Persona is going to be a mainstay here. That was just the vibe I got. Maybe I'm looking into it, but to me, they made it their point to exactly. And this goes along with my potential, whatever. If there's a 6, I don't think this franchise is missing Xbox. I think they have established the way they did this.
Sega game, man. And Sega we trust.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to state that. Now, Wo Long, they got deeper. So it kind of gave me, first of all, it's definitely Souls-like. There's no doubt, right? But it also, they wanted to emphasize Chinese martial arts more. And I was like, okay. And it gave me some combos and stuff that look a lot of reasons why I like Naraka, which we'll get into. But yeah, like it looked good. It looked good. I was feeling that. Yeah, they get into that.
Absolutely. Again, that's coming day one Game Pass at the beginning of the year. No sign that that's going to get pushed back, which is really good because that is one of my most anticipated games. And it's one of the first games to drop this year, or next year. So that's going to be really nice. Yes. There was exclusive new footage for Capcom's Exoprimal, which is scheduled to release in 2023. So one thing you'll recognize throughout the show, for better or for worse, is no announcements of new games. Technically there's one, but there's no announcements of brand new games. It's a lot of Game Pass and updates on existing things. I think that's important to note because as we're going to now start to get into the Game Pass stuff, this is how I think what we've predicted will come true, which is they're going to target the region heavily with Game Pass, right? Because I think it's the same way it worked for us in the West. that won the consumers over time will work over there, which is the universal language we all speak is money. And when you save money, people are going to come to your platform. So right now, what you're going to see is a set of games that have been hanging around for a while finally coming to Xbox. I don't know necessarily, Cog. I'll be curious to get your thoughts if this is going to push anyone over the edge to come get an Xbox. Because again, these are popular series over in Japan already that they've had the opportunity to play in some cases for upwards of 4 to 5 years that are finally coming to Xbox. To me, it felt like a stream set in Japan, focused on Western consumers who like JRPGs and whatnot. They're like, yeah, we're bringing these things to our platform. But otherwise, I don't know if this is going to bring many people over as we get into some of these. But just note that it's a lot of Game Pass stuff.
Yes.
And I think that's what they're going to do to target the region.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great assessment. I think that's exactly part of what they're trying to do. I think that also they're targeting very specific franchises that I think they feel have really good appeal for the service. I agree. I don't feel as if anybody in Japan, like if you're in Japan, like you've had these, you've played these, a lot of these, all the stuff that's new we know about, right? Kind of thing that's multi-plat, and that's fine. But I do think that this helps. They stressed cloud, and I think they were like playing Persona in the cloud and doing all this stuff in the cloud. So a lot of this stuff is targeted, I think, also for Azure and the other regions to play these other games that they're expanding into. But I think that's a good call that you said.
So the first Game Pass game came out May 31st, 2018. I remember buying this for PS4, is BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. So this actually works pretty well given Persona's coming into the platform because this is a crossover fighter game that has BlazBlue, it has Persona, it has Ruby, so it's got a lot of anime flair. I personally wasn't in love with this game because it was very auto combo heavy, but the actual roster, the story stuff, the music is all great. And the representation here is fantastic. So as an anime fan, I do like it. As a fighter, I'm not as crazy about it, but it's an Arc System fighter, which is important to note because they're probably the number one fighting team right now next to the likes of NetherRealm and a guy with Tekken, which we'll talk about in the show. So, you know, I think it's important that they're getting closer with them because they had a pretty strong presence this show. But Cog, any thoughts on BlazBlue making its way over to Xbox?
I've never played
Game Pass in spring of 2023.
Okay, yeah, I've never played one. I've never played. So this is up my alley. I'm excited. Then I saw that roster and I'm like, okay, you know, this is some real flair to this, some real heavy hitters. So yeah, I'm excited. I want to see what that's about. And again, I think they're banking on that. They're banking on an audience that just was not either familiar with it or new regions that I said will most likely get into the thing. But I want to comment back one time. XO Primal was looking phenomenal out here.
Really? You think so? Okay.
Oh,
cool.
Bro, that new trailer they showed, XO Primal was like, I remember seeing it the first time. I was like, okay, a little cool. Yeah. Oh, this new trailer? Okay. This new trailer. I was like, oh no, I'm in. Like XO Primal looked phenomenal to me. So they gave me a higher cachet when I watch. I highly advise people, it's long, up like maybe 40 minutes, whatever. But the presentation on the stream, I can't front. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, this game, I mean, oh my God, the amount of dinosaurs diving over the edge.
Yeah, I was like, yo, what's going on?
That's pretty intense. It's got, you know, it reminds me so much, I don't know why, of Resident Evil. I mean, it's a Capcom game, but it reminds me of Resident Evil 6 for some reason. I think it's the cutscene presentation. It just gives me those vibes. I can see why you like this though. Yeah. The man with the big mech with a sword doing spins in the air.
What did it remind me of my man Paris Lockhart, the brother, big brother. Yeah, I don't know. It's just something about it. Yeah. I just like it. And I like the exchange. The way it ended, he was like, yo, if you're gonna kill me, you know what I'm saying? Let me see who did it. I was like, oh, what the hell? Like they got a little intense story. So I don't know. For whatever reason, it's grabbing me.
Good. That's awesome. Because it's coming to Xbox 2023. So, like I said, we had Arc System Works having a heavy presence there, while BlazBlue came out May 31st of 2018. Guilty Gear Strive came out just last year, June 11th, and that was one of the best-looking games to come out last year. It's coming to Game Pass as well, spring 2023. This is a big deal. Guilty Gear Strive is a fantastic fighting game, and the fact that Xbox is really boning up on their fighters is a good sign, because while there's been some inconsistencies on the JRPG front, as we'll note, certainly when it comes to fighting, Street Fighter 6 day one, Tekken 8 day one, they're getting the big ones. Of course, NetherRealm's always been their day one. So Xbox has really shored up the fighting front here, and that will be complete now with the addition of some Arc System games. They already had things like Dragon Ball Fighters, of course, but Guilty Gear Strive coming to the platform. COG, if you are looking for a sound technical fighter, one of the most gorgeous animations ever. I mean, it is wonderful looking. This is that game, man.
I got to give it a shot. I've never played one. Shout out to, again, one of my LogNet writers, Ty Swinson. He is a huge fan of this game, and actually done articles on it. I got to check it out because he really goes hard, right? And I've never played one, so I got to give it a shot. I mean, there's no excuse for me now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad to hear you said it. But yeah, it looked cool. I just got to give it a shot, see what's up.
So again, both Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, Guilty Gear Strive coming to Game Pass spring 2023. After this, COG, this is literally all you. Naraka Blade Point Campaign Mode Chapter 2 this October. How are we feeling, Ninja?
Woo! I'm excited, man. I love this game, and I actually played the first chapter, chapter 1. It was really good. 3-player, kind of a little bit of horde mode stuff, but a story mode element. And I thought they did a solid job, and it played different from the Battle Royale on some levels, which I liked. So, yeah, I'm excited. New character, new stage. They go hard with Naraka, man. They're not giving up. And again, it's still one of the biggest games on PC, the PC community. And like I said, the Xbox, the cross-player aspect is there. It's really good. And you can turn that off for the people who don't want to play with the PC community. Naraka Blade Point is an underrated gem. Highly recommend people play. It's one of the more unique takes on Battle Royale, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I know you're really big on it. It's awesome to see them continuing to make it a part of their platform, especially because of its popularity on the platform. It's pretty wise for them to keep that partnership nice and close. So good on them. Naraka Blade Point, Campaign Mode, Chapter 2, this October. Now let's talk about Forza. So we take a dive back into Xbox's own first-party catalog. It's here that they announced Forza Horizon 5's 10-year anniversary update will be arriving on October 11th. So the developers invited everyone to relive what they called key gameplay moments throughout the Forza Horizon franchise, accumulated over 10 years. They're going to add a new story, which will talk about the origins of the series, a new radio station, and a Midnight Battles racing mode, plus much more. However, while this update is going to be released on October 11th, the celebration will not be limited to just one update for a month. Events and tests are going to be dedicated to this anniversary. They're going to roll out over time. So I thought this was actually pretty cool of them to do. And this is the second Tokyo Game Show in a row that Forza Horizon 5 has shown up at. Last year, it's where they revealed the PC specs. So they're back again with a new update. COG, the question being, will this pull you back into the world of racing?
I mean, I'll check it out. You know what I'm saying? There's no doubt.
Obviously, you.
It ain't gonna be too long considering with the other things on that lineup that I'm more interested in. But listen, we know it's kind of what I said about Assassin's Creed. We know what they got to do for the slam dunk over there. You know what I'm saying? So to me, this is just like, okay, we're gonna let y'all know, Forza, y'all. We're gonna keep that in your mind over here in this region. Yep. But we know what has to be done to make the true dent. You know what I'm saying? So that Tokyo Drift Forza, you know what I'm saying? That Japan Forza.
Yeah, wouldn't that be the funniest timing if as Xbox starts to turn the corner in Japan, they do a Tokyo-based Forza Horizon? That would actually work so well for them, I think.
Keep building, get it to a certain state, and then you go boom. Here go that Forza 6, that 4 or 5 year development cycle, whatever it is, and bam. You hit them with that Japan. Now you make a dent.
I like that. So yeah, the 10-year anniversary update coming out October 11th. Time for a lot of day one Game Pass games. Very excited about these. But again, keep in mind that some of these have been hanging around for quite a long while, such as Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch Remastered. Now, the original Ni no Kuni came out November 17th, 2011, which was a PS3 exclusive, and it was worked alongside Studio Ghibli, which is something that I don't think it's talked about often enough because I mean we're talking. This is a really beautiful collaboration, by the way. But the remaster came around in 2019. So this is November of 2019. So this has been hanging around for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but it's available on Xbox today and it's available on Game Pass today. So right now, if you're interested in Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch remastered, you can get it on Xbox. That would probably be a great call because normally I'd say this kind of feels like a Switch game to me now that it's out on all platforms. But the reason you don't want it on Switch is it actually runs like shit there. So Xbox is the place to go for this, I think,
Okay.
if you haven't played it. And
Yeah.
this is a gut-wrenching tale. It's really sad, but it's also very wholesome. It's a special game, man. There's a reason why it got rave reviews, thanks to its visuals, thanks to its gameplay style. But it's really the Ghibli tie-in, man. I'm not a diehard Ghibli fan. I can't sit here and act like I am, but it does bring that same spirit of those movies into a full JRPG.
Okay.
And I really did enjoy it for that. I will warn people, though,
Talk
there
to
is
me.
a point in the game where you think it's over. It truly feels like the game could have ended there. I think I was at the 50-hour mark, and it keeps going. I'm like, oh man. So there is that moment there. Maybe you won't experience that, but otherwise, this is a really fantastic game. Cog, will you be taking a dive into Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch Remastered, available on Game Pass today?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check see what's going on. I've heard.
Mm.
I remember it on PlayStation back in the day, and I shout out to my man. Who used to go hard for it? My man B Money. Shout out to B Money on Brad Podcast. He used to go hard for this game, and I remember. Now the question is, you firing synapses because you were saying how the old one came out like way back, right? What was it you
Yeah.
said?
2011 is
And
when.
this is what I want people to pay attention to. I get the theme. Now, some people are going to sit there because I briefly talked to Attic before we went live, and he was just like, some of these joints, and I get it. But what I want to pay attention to is the release date, getting these franchises, and think about development cycle if there potentially is a sequel.
Yeah.
So if you want to get in these ecosystems, if there potentially is a Ni no Kuni or whatever, 3 or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You've already established. So keep in mind, and that's why I don't want people to underestimate that. I get for some people be like, yo, PlayStation got something like, yo, bro, we had that. Like, I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get it. But I just want people to keep in mind that aspect and building a portfolio. You know what I'm saying? But I will definitely check it out. I mean, look, there's no excuse. When it's in Game Pass, that's my motto. There's no excuse. At least fire it up, see what's going on.
Absolutely. And I think what's great about Ni no Kuni is it captures you in the beginning of the game in a really different way. It's opening hours. I don't think are slow at all. It's because it's very sad start. I'll just warn people on that. It's a very, very sad start. But yeah, that's going to be coming to the service alongside Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom. It's coming to Xbox in 2023. So this is one that I've been wanting to check out since this will be a bit of a throwback. When I wasn't officially rolled into LSM as a host, I was doing the YouTube video side of things. And I think we were one of the first guest-based Sacred Symbol Plus episodes where it was me and Dustin, and we sat down to talk about the top RPGs. And Dustin put in his top 5 for that generation was Ni no Kuni 2.
Oh, Dustin. So I got to go to Dustin. I got to get educated.
Yeah. He really goes hard for this game because it's more action RPG focused compared to that of the first one. The first one's more of a turn-based real-time game, whereas this sequel is I would kind of connect it more to the Tales of franchise, that type of action RPG focus. But there's also like a whole side game that involves commanding armies and almost an RTS, if you will.
Okay.
So it's very different, but a lot of people go against it because it doesn't have Studio Ghibli's involvement. It still looks beautiful, by the way, but it doesn't have that exact Ghibli look. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I still want to play it, but it is coming to Xbox in 2023. So if you enjoy Wrath of the White Witch, which is a full-fledged JRPG and will take you some time, you can look forward to the sequel on Xbox in 2023.
Question. So when did Ni no Kuni 2 originally come out?
It came out in 2018. Let me get the exact date here because I just had it up, but I was looking at the Steam store for March 23rd, 2018.
Okay. Interesting.
So Yeah, again, these are sizable gaps between each of these games releases where I think it does just support the argument that I don't think a lot of folks in Japan, unless they miss these games,
Yeah,
which I
which
would
is right.
imagine a smaller contingent, will not be sprinting into Xbox saying, "Now you got Dino Crisis."
Now you got it, bro.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
I'm gonna get you now.
Yeah.
Now I get it, but keep in mind future game development,
Mhm.
4 or 5 year cycle.
Well, there's one studio that unfortunately
Uh-oh.
this won't apply to.
Okay.
It's this next one, man. My
Let's
man
go.
Kazutaka Kodaka. Danganronpa V3 available today. Now, here's why I just want to complete my thought from a second ago. Announced during the Direct was Master Detective Archives Rain Code. This is the spiritual successor to Danganronpa. The reason I'm excited about it is the last game that came from Spike Chunsoft was what was it called? World's End Club.
Mm-hmm.
That game did not review well. You could just tell Kodaka was not involved. Kodaka's involved in this. I saw it and I went, I know, because it was the music, no, that's wrong energy.
That's wrong.
Was that.
That's wrong. It's so funny now I know this series
Yes,
now.
sir. Yeah, see, that's all you got to know. Yeah, it had that kind of music. You just knew, but it was like a 3D detective game. I thought to myself, I thought about you for a sec. I wonder if this would work with him more, because this could be paced better. Instead of the trials, this looks like, we'll see. I'll be taking the dive, but unfortunately, Switch exclusive.
And what's the name of the Switch one? What's the name of that?
This one is called Master Detective Archives Rain Code. Spring 2023 Switch, absolutely day one, man. This first half of 2023 is going to make me cry like a baby. I'm so excited for all these games. But on the Xbox side of things, they're getting Danganronpa V3 today. Oh my God. Y'all are about to experience peak fiction.
Peak Rampa.
Now, dude, I have hyped up this series, but it depends on what day you ask me, right? I go back and forth between V3 and the first one being my favorite. The first one's got the originality. It's got the almost claustrophobia, the what's going on in the outside of the school walls. Yes. Once you learn about all of that, you get into 2. I think 2 is still a great game, but I think since you already know some of the truths, it doesn't hit as hard.
Okay.
V3, when we look at modern video games, I think has the most bold storytelling play I have seen yet. Me and my friends, and I've said this on the show, so I'm just going to reiterate, still talk about the ending to V3, still talk about everything leading up to it. That first chapter, the only reason I do wish, COG, you pushed through is the first chapter of V3. And I think you could get away by playing this on its own, but I'm not going to press that. I'm just saying, though, that first chapter of V3 answers every single problem I think you had with the game. The pacing, the mini games, I think, are more fun.
Okay.
But the actual hook to the game, that beginning, that finale, the way they get bold and in your face, man, none of the shit they do is expected. Absolute fucking stunner of a story. I still think about it, heavily inspirational storytelling, man. So I want to throw that out there for those maybe on the fence. If you dive in on its own, I think it may hit a little less hard, but I do want to say that if you play the whole series like I did, this is my favorite visual novel, man. It's so
V3
good.
V3 sounded like a lot of the issues that I have, if they resolved a lot, that would definitely get me to play.
It's just longer. That's the problem. It is a longer game. So every Danganronpa games gets longer. Like the first one's about 25 to 30 hours. Then the second one goes up to 40. This one goes up to 55.
It goes in.
Yeah, it goes in, man. But I mean, the trials are better. The storytelling it's just downright a depressing game. It's so good.
Do you think V3 is the best Danganronpa?
Yeah, like I said, depends on which day. But if I'm looking at the whole series, this is the most contentious, by the way, hence why I use the word bold, because a lot of people go, nah, I don't like what Kodako did. I don't like that at all. Yeah, there's a civil war. There's a civil war.
So those guys have 1 and 2 as their best Danganronpa?
Yeah, a lot of people think two or one is
Either
the
way.
best, but
Okay,
two is also a favorite because of the cast. The cast
gotcha.
is really important in there.
Okay,
They play a big part in the overarching Danganronpa world, but
interesting.
it goes deep, man. It goes deep. It's a
I
really
might
well
just
thought out
start it
series.
just to see, because now like I know the universe now,
If
just
I
to
would almost,
see.
if I were you, I would almost say if you do end up doing that,
Mhm,
I'll just say this: I won't pressure you for the full game,
mhm,
but I'd be curious to get your thoughts on Chapter One. You don't even
mhm.
got to beat the game. I would love to see that, but I think if you beat Chapter One, I'd be very interested to see
I'm,
your
I
response to
think
it.
I'm gonna try it. I think I'm gonna
Yeah,
try it. I think I
yeah,
am, because if it addresses a lot of the issues that I had with one, that was really it. I mean, I
mhm,
was liking the game other than those parts. So
mhm.
okay, all right,
Yeah.
fair
It
enough.
go back to for those who have played Danganronpa 2, V3 goes back to the more first person inside a school,
Yeah,
kind of back to basics. So I also love that. That's
I
why I
like
love
that too.
too, because it was that it felt more exploratory, except the
Mm,
school's a little bigger, people are in different spots.
right.
So it is a much broader game, and it is more of a video game compared to the rest of the series. There's a lot of
Mm,
mini games peppered throughout, so
right.
you're going to be playing a lot
Mm,
more too, which is why I think it's longer. But anyway,
okay.
I could go on. I will not eat up the rest of our time. Danganronpa
Woo!
now available on Game Pass. A new trailer was dropped for Overwatch 2. There was a new character announced, Kiriko. She dashes into Overwatch 2 on October 4th. She's a new support hero where she can teleport through walls to protect teammates with a healing Ofuda or dash towards enemy and take them out with their kunai. So it is a great focused announcement for Japan. I like here, though, Cog, very subtly, are they pulling Activision branding into them, right? We saw it with Diablo before the acquisition's done. We're seeing it here with Overwatch. So something to keep an eye on. But anything you have in mind to say about Overwatch 2?
Yeah, the character looks really cool.
Yeah.
I admit it gave me female ninja,
Mm.
vibes. I always mispronounce it as the Japanese name version. That name is with a K, but I always Kanuchi. I always mess it up. But anyway,
Kunoichi, I think. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, she was fine. Like she had the little thing going on. Gave me that ninja vibe I
Mhm.
like. And I told people like it's funny. The Overwatch community is not as excited because I guess of the drastic changes. Some of the Overwatch community. I'm actually excited for Overwatch too. So I get to get in and then most likely Game Pass. Let's go.
Absolutely. Next, a trailer for Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. This is not the Eiyuden Chronicle that dropped earlier this year. This is 100 Heroes, the JRPG we've been waiting for. Very Suikoden inspired. It was a brand new gameplay trailer featuring dialogue from some of the Japanese voice actors that'll be featured in the game. And this game looks wonderful. I don't think I need to see any more. Day one Game Pass. This is already confirmed previously, but it looks so good. Just that this is the first company outside of Square to be doing that HD 2D stuff. So I think
Hmm.
see the industry cover that more. There's a lot of success waiting for people there.
I am so pumped for this. Again, I got to shout out the home team. Shout out Lords Gaming down there. Shout out my boy Chris Jones, C Unit. This
Mm.
is his favorite game, Suikoden, and then he covers every update about this damn game. You did Chronicle. We heard about obviously the first game, which is a fighting game kind of setup. This is the real one. And shout out to Dustin because I saw him looking into picking up Suikoden and finding out what's the whole deal about the 108 stars. This game looks absolutely gorgeous. This
Yeah,
is
I'm in the same pocket. I need to play
oh, bro,
Suikoden too,
like.
man.
I remember Suikoden on PlayStation, and I'm like, wow, this is a great story. And I played
Mhm.
two. Those are. See, you caught me with late stage, so you're like, I don't really play JRPG. Like, bro, that's when I was heavy. Like Final Fantasy set off a whole
Oh,
thing for me.
I know you got JRPG roots. That's
Yeah,
why I
like that,
always recommend them to you because I know I
bro.
can awaken the beast again.
Yeah, it's in there. Don't get me wrong. It's in there. It's just I had to stop because when you older, they take your soul. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You have to pick and choose. But this one, I am making like that's my heart, and this is the spiritual
Yeah,
success. Like it's going down. This game looks phenomenal.
I agree. Dyson Sphere program launches on PC Game Pass October 13th. This is a surprisingly, for the type of game it is, very beautiful game. You build an intergalactic factory. It's a space simulation strategy game, but I don't know this. It looks really cool. Like it's a simplistic art style. It's a simple concept, but it's beautiful. I really do recommend
Yeah,
people give it a look, see what this game's all
yeah.
about.
The joint with the mechs and the planet. That
Yeah,
joint was kind of
if it wasn't dropping in such a busy month, this would definitely be I'm going to try this one out type of
yeah.
game. But I don't know if I'll get around to it. But I do want to make sure I put it on people's radar. This is a awesome looking game.
Mm. Yeah, definitely.
Next is Pal World. Pal World was confirmed for Xbox consoles. It is from the creators of Craftopia. It's a brand new multiplayer open world survival crafting game where you can befriend and collect mysterious creatures called Pal. This is really important because Xbox kind of missed the boat on Temtem. That's on PC and
Mm.
PlayStation. And Temtem really rocketed out of the gates because a lot of people were tired of Pokemon Sword and Shield at the time. So a lot of folks saw what was happening with Temtem and really enjoyed it. Xbox didn't really have that Pokemon answer. Now they sort of have something in that pocket here. So it's important that they have Power World because I think any Pokemon competitor right now is primed to do well because even though Pokemon's still extremely successful, there's a lot of displeasure with the way the mainline franchise is going. I know some people are excited for the new ones coming out in November, but I think, when it comes to combat, you can admit visuals as well. It's not as ambitious.
Who is this thing? He on the back of some cute animal and they shooting the rocket launchers. What's going on? This game look wild, but it actually very, am I correct? Action heavy. This looks like it's going down. Like this don't look like just regular Pokemon. They getting it in here. They action, they mining, they shoot, they doing boss fights.
Yeah.
What's this? It actually looked like really cool. Like this, I thought it was like a Pokemon game. This actually looks really cool.
Catching, but yeah, it looks extremely good. It has the catching, but it's like, what if we made it a third-person shooter too?
And this been out too? Where this been at? I've never heard of it. That's crazy.
It was confirmed for Xbox consoles, but it looks great. So definitely one worth checking out. Mm-hmm. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, this has been leaked for a while that it was coming to Game Pass. It's available today. The timing is pretty solid given all the recent Assassin's Creed announcements, but Odyssey is one of my favorite recent ones. If you were to ask me in the last three ones of Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, which my favorite was, I loved Odyssey. Odyssey, the make sure when you play the game, play as the female.
That's what everyone says.
Play as the female. Do not go and play Alexios. Give Cassandra her respect. Okay?
That's what I heard.
She is fantastic in this game, man. So funny, so charming. The whole game was built around her originally. She was supposed to be the MC until Ubisoft intervened and said, no. We can't have a female being the lead. So trust me, game was built around her. Yeah, game was built around her.
He was going at Carrick. His character still trying to defend Alexios. I was like, no. He was like, Cassandra.
I did the same thing. Yeah, Carrick's like, Alexios isn't that bad. I'm like, dude, stop.
Yeah, they jumped Carrick. When I they were like, no. So yeah, I heard this is the de facto one. I do. It actually look cool. I mean, it's giving me Rise of the Rome vibes. And if it comes out, but then again, when is it coming out though? Because it's
out today.
Oh, it's today, guys. Play a Cyberpunk. It's in a real time right now, man. I want to play that game, but it's too much stuff coming right now.
It's one of the most bloated ones, man. That's the problem too. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, it's just
it's so good, but if any of y'all got very little free time, it's a hard recommend to make because it's just a hard recommendation to make. Sorry, because it's just, man, it's a great get. It's a great get. It's a great game, but I mean, unless you got 40 to 50 hours to spare, this is a tough one to recommend. All right. Fuga, Melodies of Steel crosses over to Xbox Game Pass today. This is from CyberConnect 2. And I think you've talked about this game in the past before, but it's a very, very unknown little game that came out from their studio. They're typically known for their anime fighting games. They did the recent Demon Slayer game. Of course, they're famously known for DBZ Kakarot, and more before that, it was Ultimate Ninja Storm. But they did this side game, Fuga Melodies of Steel. Apparently, it's also really good. I just want to throw out there, but it's very different from anything else they did. It's a almost Advance Wars style game.
Hey, I was like, yo, this look like Advance Wars, bro. Yeah. Like that was my joint on Game Boy. What? I was like, this look like a new Advance Wars. I was like, what? Oh, so I'm sorry. Continue.
No, that was all I had to say, man. It really does have the Advance Wars look and feel. Very different. Certainly a hidden gem, though. That would probably be the most apt description for it. So if you're looking to find something that's a little out of the ordinary, this is absolutely it. And it needed Game Pass. I remember when they were trying to release it, just no one talked about it. There was very little visibility for it, little marketing for it. I don't think there's a lot of faith in it. So Game Pass could be the savior of this game.
Oh, I might be in on that. I see, I've always wanted Advance Wars to kind of step up the graphical part. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
because Advance was an amazing game. But no, I'm in on this. I'm
I
in
have
on
not
this.
played Advance Wars yet. I was waiting for the remake, but they
Oh,
delayed it. So
yeah, that's true.
here I am. Yeah.
The original Advance Wars is an absolute classic, strategy classic.
Hmm.
That game is phenomenal. Yeah, and
Yeah.
this
I've
they
heard.
you could tell this is inspired by the way they do the cuts and the splits when the actual units go to war and engage with each other. It's the same style, but
Nice.
just on a grander scale. So whoever made this is clearly inspired. There's no doubt.
Excellent. And that's good news for you then, because if you like that, the second one's coming to Xbox in 2023.
Yes, let's
So
go.
there we go. Last announcement of the show. I got up at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. for this. Sorry. Of course. Bethesda's Deathloop launches on Xbox September 20th. It comes with the Golden Loop update, which they describe it as photo mode, additional accessibility options, crossplay matchmaking, host of quality of life fixes. They're also bringing a new weapon, powerful new ability, new enemy types, an extended ending, and more to the game. Now, that last one, that may pull me back in. That may pull the flannel boy back in, because I got to say, the ending to Deathloop was insanely rushed. And
Mm.
if they gave you time to cook, I want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that the number one slanderers takes are updated.
Mm-hmm. That could
Yeah,
potentially,
it could
change. Okay.
unravel some things. We will see. But COG, it's finally coming. I believe the game came out a little bit more than a year ago. I just we can Deathloop came out September 14th. So we're talking we're talking 6 days
Mm-hmm.
after its release. So as people had predicted, as expected, the contract was up in a year. So take Ghostwire Tokyo, put that in the same window. Look forward to it. Yeah, there you go. Cog's got the shirt on. I
Ready,
love that.
baby, I'm ready.
But Deathloop's coming. Cog, one of your games of the year last year. My friend, are you excited to experience it now? You best be. You got to be all over this shit, man. I need you to be up
No,
in this
I'm
game
all
space.
over it. It's getting finished. It's getting the whole. Trust me, it ain't gonna get a tryout. I know. I'm gonna get the smoke if I don't. Like I have to do this. Like this is what I was waiting for. I mean, it was looking shaky for me. Remember when we had that Duke, and I was just like, "Yo, what's going on?" It was like, "Is it gonna happen? Is it not?" And I talked myself back into it's gonna happen. And the vibe I got now is because what made me nervous at first is when it was going to PlayStation's thing, but I was like, "No, that's the end of the cycle, Cog." And then, from what I understand, the way the contract is, Game Pass when the Game Pass version comes out, that it had to be at the same time as the PlayStation one. That's from what I'm hearing contractually. So expect something similar, Ghostwire Tokyo. When you finally see that joint go into PlayStation Premium thing or whatever, then you'll see it again because it has to have a matching. So I think that's the contractual aspect that was missed that I missed. So yeah, this is huge. This is huge, and you get the little bonus. See, I'm glad I waited.
It was all part of the master plan.
See, I knew this was gonna happen. I get all the trimmings, all the little sauce, the sprinkles. Let's go! Like now, I get it. See, you had it. It was great, but now,
great. Settle down, man.
it was good it was okay for Maddie.
Yeah.
But now, all these little extra features, a little side dessert, you know what I'm saying? A little appetizer. You might come around to that game of the year talk, man.
We'll see about that. I'm just hoping what it does to you, man. I'm waiting for the profound impact to you. For you, I hope you love this game so that you go and check out Dishonored and
of course.
the true arcane library that awaits you. Because then it will dwarf your experience, and you'll have this moment of, oh shit, what did I like, man? And I'll sit here. I'll be waiting for you with open arms.
Fair enough. I got to try to do. Definitely, those are all on the docket because I got to play these games. I know how much you love them. But yeah, man, this is big. It's a huge shot in the arm for Xbox, just overall.
Yeah.
We know the story about 2022, and I think they're doing it. Listen, I'll be honest. I think they're doing a good job of salvaging as best as they can. And my prediction was Game Pass it up. They definitely have done that. They filling up a couple of gaps here, and the JRPG scene. I love to see the presence, man. I really do.
Absolutely. So that's everything that was at Xbox's Tokyo Game Show. Overall, pretty good. As you said, Cog, very, very well said indeed. That they really are plugging the gaps in this year pretty well. I'll throw out there, because there's just a ton of options now and coming in the future. A lot of these 2023 games are going to be even more particularly overwhelming when you think of what else is going to hit the service. There's so many things that are already announced that we know are coming to the service that weren't even here. So Game Pass is really loading up. And I'm excited for the future of the platform. Everyone's going to have something to play here. And especially if you're a JRPG fan, you have lots of selections. So overall, a good showcase. And I'm hoping next time around, maybe we see a new reveal or two. Not just the old stuff coming around. Because now I think they've finished a lot of their catch up. I'm sure there are items on the list. But I want to now see, okay, like what's the new game reveals? Like, can Xbox be a platform for those 200 plus partners that they have? Can someone reveal a game there? Can they be that platform holder? That's where I'm looking for the future. But this was good, I think, for where they're currently at in the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think you're on fire there. I think that's exactly what the plan is. Listen, I get it. To turn the corner, it's stages, right? To transform, this has historically been bad in the region prior to all this. So this is a building, and now I think, because again, when you look at the start of the show, listen to what Phil, listen to Sarah Bond, they kind of preview hint what things they want to do. They mentioned From Software. They mentioned a lot of these big games that they're not, they want us on the platform. They mentioned Kojima Productions. I wouldn't be surprised when he's ready. He's going to be a debut in that stage.
Yeah,
that's going to be a symbolic thing. And people are going to be like, okay, they are serious. So I think if you notice, last year, to this year, is an improvement. And I get it. Next year, I'll be with you, though. A little bit more on the newer games now that the gaps have been filled. But I want to give them kudos, man. They are trying. They really are. And I know it's not perfect. I still want to strangle somebody over Octopath. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I feel
a lot of people were holding out for that one, too. Like, maybe it'll get the stream. I get it.
You know what I'm saying? I wish maybe get a secret announcement. I get it. But, like, make no mistake, man. Like, you got to support, because I am seeing a concerted effort to, like, no, we are not going to. And Game Pass is the play. There's no doubt.
100%. So with that, that's everything on TGS, and on to the rest of the show. Enjoy. Following Halo Infinite's incredibly successful launch with 20 plus million players back on December 8th, 2021, it's quite stunning to see how things have spiraled. It was merely 10 days ago that we had sat down to discuss 343 Industries, shepherds of the Halo franchise for over a decade now, and if they were cut out for the task. This was thanks to an announcement involving more delays coming to the game's highly anticipated features, namely Forge and Campaign Co-op. It also came with the cancellation of local split-screen co-op, an announcement that almost immediately blew up in 343's face as soon as a menu glitch had allowed players to get up to 4 players into the campaign to play together. Naturally, fans have become fed up with the following 4 mainline Halo games that were released with major issues and, in turn, have called for change. That brings us to today, where yet another major move has been made to put 343 in the best possible position when it comes to delivering crucial updates to Halo Infinite on time. Bonnie Ross, who founded the company 15 years ago and has served as studio head since, left a message on her Twitter account announcing her exit. Quote, "While I had hoped to stay with Halo until we release the winter update, I am letting you know that I will be leaving 343 and attending to a family medical issue. I am incredibly proud of the work everyone at 343 Industries has done with Halo Infinite, the Master Chief Collection, the Halo television series, and so much more. It has been an honor to serve alongside the team for the last 15 years and to be a part of a universe that I love. Thank you to everyone in the Halo community for your support. Halo's future is bright. I cannot wait for you all to experience what we have in store and to cheer alongside you as a fan at the Halo World Championship in October." End quote. Following this letter, a major restructuring of 343's leadership roles were unveiled to the public. Pierre Hintz, who served as production lead and is largely responsible for guiding MCC to the promised land, will become studio head of 343 Industries effective immediately. It is there he will guide the studio's ongoing development of Halo Infinite and the Master Chief Collection, as well as any future games. The leadership team will expand in new ways, converting Bonnie's old position into a bit of a hydra. Introducing Brian Koski, who will become GM of franchise. Brian has served under Microsoft for a combined 14 years, where he served as senior product manager of both Fable and Forza before becoming group market manager to help launch Halo Reach for an anniversary. Originally, he served as the head of marketing for the Halo franchise for the last 7 years, where he helped launch Halo 5 Guardians, Halo Wars 2, and most recently, Halo Infinite. Elizabeth Van Wyck will also climb the ladder as she oversees business and operations. Elizabeth has been with Microsoft for 15 years, working her way up to strategy manager and product manager within Xbox Game Studios. In 2014, she would transfer to senior business manager for the Halo franchise until 3 years later in 2017, where her focus was head of esports for the series. Let's speak with John Hank now. Hey, Dukes. I know this topic has been beaten to death. The defining Duke Ultimate about the state and future of Halo was fire. Thank you, John. Any additional quick-fire thoughts of Bonnie Ross leaving? Or are your thoughts were as they were before? As a longtime fan, it is just such a shame the game has such great gameplay and momentum at launch, but was missing key features like Match XP, Forge, co-op, and limited maps and matchmaking. I'm cautiously optimistic that Joseph Staten and the new split responsibilities executive team will bring us some brighter times. Hope you have you got food poisoning 2 hours before your friend's wedding with groomsman duties kind of day. That is a special type of brutal.
Yeah, that's rough.
Cog. A lot of people called for blood, right? They said it's time for a change. I was one of the people who said it's time for a change. When you're at the top, it doesn't matter. You are responsible for the culture, the output, even if it is not well and truly in your physical hands. So it seems like Bonnie Ross has paid the price. She is out, freeing up what is now 3 positions to be filled in by existing Microsoft employees whose backgrounds I covered here. I'm curious, as is John, has anything changed since we sat down and last discussed what's going on with 343, what's going on with Bonnie Ross's position, and the future of Halo Infinite?
Not much. I think, but I'm still consistent with it. It's ultimately, I think, probably the right move. I think that, I'm willing to give Pierre a shot as the new CEO lead because of the masterful job their team has done with turning around Master Chief Collection. Master Chief Collection, as we know, was absolutely unacceptable, at its launch, one of the worst launches I've ever been a part of. I still remember it like it was yesterday. It left a huge scar on me. I couldn't believe Halo launched like that. It was just unplayable. Like I've never seen anything like that. It was just like, wow, this is Halo. We can't play it. You know what I'm saying? I remember sitting in queues for hours and I couldn't find a match.
It was painful, dude. It was one of my most anticipated games. I remember when it got announced at the showcase, I was losing my mind. I was so excited.
I literally told people to get an Xbox One because of that. My reputation was on the line. They're like, bro, I bought that thing. What the hell? And I'm like, oh. You know what I'm saying? I remember the conference like it was yesterday. Remember they had the 60 frames and this is the old look, the new look.
You see all the key art for the game start to fill in each corner.
Oh bro. Halo Master Chief Collection. If you watch the E3 press conference of it, how ambitious it literally was a jolt in the arm. And I thought that was going to start the Xbox One comeback.
And bro, when they said that cumulative gamer score, I forgot how many thousand it was. I remember that feeling. Give it to me now. Yeah.
You taking it back, bro? Yeah, I remember that. Wow.
Audience lost their mind when they heard that the gamer score.
Huge pop. It looked phenomenal, and that was with 60 frames. With they'd be like, "Yo, we're gonna get Halo looking and moving right." And then we know what happened. So I'm willing to give them a shot. They've obviously turned it around. Last thing I'll say, because I don't want to beat it to death too much, and we got more Halo questions, but the last thing I'll say is just that I think you and Chris, I think Chris also said, at first a lot of the talk was like, yo, how come Staten didn't get any bump up or move up? And the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? It's good that he didn't.
Yeah, because right. We were calling for that, but that was good.
That's the only thing that's changed. I was just like, maybe I was like, damn, Staten should have got a little, more prominent role. But then there's a part of me that said, no, these are the top level Halo where the franchise is going to go overall. And then you talk about the esports and the movie. It just showed me she was doing a lot, and that's not all the blame on her. But I like Staten ways at. Let him deal with the day-to-day and be a creative. Because sometimes you don't want to get in the way of a creative. And I think ultimately I'm still trending optimistically on the turnaround, but just going to be a way, y'all. I'm a fellow Destiny fan giving y'all advice. This reminds me of D2 crash and burn after the initial hype of the launch. D2 when it first launched was well received.
I remember that.
Then, the smoke cleared and you started to see the warts and the lack of content and the terrible meta. And we were like, oh no. And then they made all these weird changes, just like Master Chief Collection, where you had a foundation that was great already in D1. Everybody loved it towards the like Destiny 1 built itself up to a great state before it as it ended. Then D2 said, oh, we're going to take away all these things you like. We're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally what Infinite did. Like Infinite just, they're sitting on content, sitting on modes that we're like, why isn't this in thing? So get ready. You're going to get some live updates here and there. It's going to be very small, substantial back-end stuff. It's not probably for another year for this thing. It was very telling. I think we had Rand on for the, when we did the Xbox show here on Duke.
Yeah.
Rand and Jez was very telling that it was not at the showcase at all.
Yeah, in hindsight now, it makes a lot of sense. They knew what was coming.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at. What about you? Like, have you, now that the news has resonated, you sat on it more? Where you at?
I think you brought up the one thing that definitely changed between all of us that were on that show, which is we were calling for Staten to fill that role when we didn't. This is why, they're the execs. They thought to break it up. And it does signify Bonnie was probably up to her ears and things to manage. And that's tough for one person to do. And I think if you free that up where now you have someone who is responsible in a large part for bringing MCC back to the promised land, you can't just skim over that. That is significant, right? This guy came in 2017 and really put the game back on track, really helped it out, where I know it shouldn't have been like that, but after 3 years of disaster, to have someone just come in and have that influence, that is huge. Production lead. So very important to note that this person will now be overseeing what's going on with Infinite, what's going on with MCC, of course, as he already was, and then what's going to go on with any future project. So I do feel pretty good about that as a leadership role, head of studio. Then you take a look at how they've diversified. Okay, we have Brian Koski, who served as he's becoming the GM of the franchise, marketing stuff, right? This is all about product awareness, brand awareness. That has to be someone's role. Not every person who's good at managing a studio and talent is good at also saying, here's how we can get people to hear about Halo more. Here's a book idea. Here's a show idea, et cetera, et cetera. And then someone who's going to manage the business and operations, the nickels and dimes, head of esports, the vision. Again, I just think that's very wise. So to me, the biggest thing that changed was kind of reversing course on Staten should lead the charge. I think him as head of creative, that's why that role was created, right? Because they were diversifying the senior leadership positions. And I do feel better about that. Moving forward, this should bring them into a healthier state. But like Cog said, it is going to be a while. What has stayed, I still want them to send the IP out of the studio. I'm sorry. Let them cook on Infinite. Let them work. This IP should just go elsewhere. I think it needs to be in a different set of hands. And I do think that we need to experiment. I forgot to specify this last time in DDU. Let me specify here. I'm talking spinoffs. Mainline
100%.
Mainline yes. 343, I think, has to do it at this point. If you've gone to this length of giving it to them for so long, building a studio name around it, building a culture around it, now restructuring it to recover it, I feel like they just have to, by how things are handled so far, they will, in default, get the mainline entries. But it's time to see what else Halo can be beyond an RTS, a twin-stick shooter, and a first-person shooter. People love survival horror. You've got this crazy thing people are looking for called the Flood. A Flood-based survival horror game where you're playing as a Marine crawling through a derelict ship. Come on, that sells itself, man. I know the Halo campaigns, especially to me, Combat Evolved, the reason I love it is each level has a vibe, right? Each level has a vibe. Like Assault on the Control Room is... It's weird because it's all war, but it's like cozy snow vibes. And 343 Guilty Spark, it's like, oh man, I'm kind of creeped out like with these. Yeah, so I just feel, yes, that may strip some of the identity away of what a Halo campaign is, but also these were developed years and years ago where we saw what happened with Halo Infinite, how it's difficult to diversify your environments nowadays. But I'm getting off track. That has stayed the same, that I demand spinoffs. A Halo tactics game, a Halo RPG, a Halo survival horror game, Halo this, Halo that. It's the same energy I got with Fallout. You cannot have your most popular IP, A, lie dormant, Or B, when things have gone south, you got to recover goodwill. It's time to see what other people can do. And that's kind of what Halo Wars 2 did at the time. Everyone was down bad with Halo 5 Guardians. I remember it. I played it. I was like, this ain't it, man. Halo Wars 2 comes around, presents a strong campaign. Here's Atriox, a genuine threat. Fun gameplay. RTS isn't for everybody, but fun gameplay. They bring in the Blitz mode. For those of you who don't like RTS, here's the kind of card system that makes it really fast-paced. I think the monetization definitely hurt the game, by the way. But that experimentation helped people feel better about Infinite. And I think that's what they need to continue to do, is lift this series up through new creatives. So that is the number one consistency among anything I said, is please continue to hand out the IP.
Love it. And you build up your own lore. You create, again, your little Marvel Cinematic Universe of Halo, right? Like, I remember like it was yesterday. I was like, Attic was like, bro, you need to play Halo Wars 2. I'm like, yeah, but it's RTS. And he said, bro, you need to play. You need to know what's going on in the universe. When I saw that opening scene and I saw Atriox, and I was like, oh, he's just handling Spartans. Oh, there's a threat. Oh, Thanos is coming. I was like, that's the vibe. And I was like, this is what you need. So now let's continue stuff like this. Let's see what Atriox is doing. Well, we got, like Chris, like we got all these other characters. We got Locke, we got Arbiter, we got all. You can do so much. You got No Name Spartan. You got so much. You go back in time. You can do a lot with this. I'm 100% agree with you. Spin off another genre. Let's go. Hey, people been wanting a third person over the shoulder.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just, you put it perfectly by mentioning the characters. There's so many outstanding characters in Halo that could have their own stories built around them in unique ways. I just feel like it's such a missed opportunity for a big brand. You know, we're seeing every company and their mothers go in the direction of television show this, anime that, which is great because they're starting to turn out better, which is awesome. Hearing good things about Edge Runner, of course, The Witcher, Arcane, we're hearing wonderful things. So it's good that they're improving. There was a time that I think we're quick to forget. This was like a bona fide, without a doubt, dud. Anytime you heard video game and movie, video game and TV, you're like, oh, this is gonna end bad. But now that's slowly starting to fade. So I get why companies are pursuing them, because they're understanding more how to get it right, what gamers do like. But I do think we need to diversify the game pool here for sure, just for the sake of the health of the IP. Restore that faith, because you can make new series out of it. I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with my little survival horror idea, but you can make like a Halo Resident Evil series. Just call it something else, but it has Halo in the name, man. I just feel like there is so much there that you could build off of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway, let's move on. Next. Forza Motorsport currently sits as one of Xbox's most anticipated exclusives heading into 2023. Since seeing over 5 minutes of gameplay during the Xbox and Bethesda showcase for 2022, the team at Turn 10 has steadily churned out updates on the game's progress. However, this latest update, which arrives via the most recent Forza monthly stream, may not be too encouraging to some who are expecting the game to launch during spring of 2023. Here's what Turn 10 Studios GM Dan Greenawalt had to say about the game's progress. Quote, generally, teams go through 4 phases. They have a concept phase where you flare lots of new ideas, more than you could ever build, 10, 20 times the game you could ever build. And in this case, with Forza Motorsport, we were rethinking kind of everything. Pre-production is the second phase. In pre-production, you're actually tooling up. You're making prototypes. You're proving out, is this any good? Does this feel right? You try not to do too much of that, but it's an important phase. The next phase, and this is where we are right now, is production. In production, you put your head down and you build. The goal is to hit your dates and have great energy, great clarity, come together and build as a team. And then the final stage, which we will be entering as we get into next year, is polish. And polish is really, really critical. If you've got a massive game like Forza Motorsport and a lot of new systems you're rethinking, there's a lot of surface area to polish, and it takes a lot of time. The real art of game development is not biting off more than you can polish. We're deep in production now, and we'll be heading into polish phase sometime in the next year. Cog, what do you think about this one? Right now, Forza Motorsport currently slated for spring 2023. That could put it as deep as June. Do you think it makes it there? If he's saying we're going to start at sometime in 2023 polish, because Of course, once production finishes up, the most important part really is that polish, cleaning up
Yeah.
what's there. So what are you expecting with Forza Motorsport come spring 2023?
Yeah, shout out to people. I think it's the most latest part of that spring window. I think they need to.
I always go
If
to
he
Starfield
said,
for that, so it's interesting.
yeah, like I just feel like if you're in that production stage now and you're not, he literally says the final stage is polish, which he said as we get there into next year. So if next year you're polishing, I would be surprised if it came towards the top of the year. So now the question to me, because I was curious about motorsport in one sense. Remember our theme has been, how does Microsoft handle the cadence of these releases? Are they going to make the mistakes they historically always make, like Maddie eloquently says, and bottom heavy the year, excuse me, and then you're like, I got all these games at the same time and let them space out. So maybe Redfall top, Starfield middle, Forza towards the end. Maybe Forza gets allowed to push back depending on where Reviled is and other things. I think
Hellblade,
Forza
yeah.
is going to get allowed some time. That's my thing now. I think they realize that, one, you can't put out a broken product.
Yes.
Flagship product.
Yes.
Forza is that.
Yes.
Like, we ain't doing this with Forza. So you give Mr. Greenblatt his time, and if it's towards the end, great. Or maybe it comes right around that September-y. Forza usually come out around that, like, September, October sometimes.
Right.
You fit in it right there. Still got a 2-month window for maybe a Obsidian kind of title.
Don't tease me, man. Avowed and Starfield in the same year.
I can hope. I can dream.
I gotta lay eyes on it first, man.
Now you're talking about a monster year. You talk about maybe Redfall at the top, Starfield kind of summer. Man, I'm getting excited. Let me stop. Look, give Forza the time they need, and they're fine. Because to me, yeah, I don't want that joint until it's ready. And even though it's not for me per se, I don't want it, messing up or grouped up all together. The thing I just want is I just don't want them all packed close and it's just no spacing. Space these things out if you need be.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, I don't think there's really a reason for them to rush it all, because you have Forza Horizon 5, which was extremely successful. It continues to have a high player base. It had expansions. It had DLC. And I know there's a difference for many in the Forza fan base, where it's like Horizon's more fun, free. It's obviously open world, where Motorsport's like hardcore. That's why I was kind of interested in it, by the way. I'm more interested in Motorsport than I am with approaching Horizon 5, because I just thought kind of the ins and outs of your vehicle and the mastery of it all, just as I was watching gameplay, I was like, this seems more up my alley, honestly. So I am interested in it for sure. But overall, I think Xbox does have the ability to take their time. You have a existing answer. And I know people think we may be getting overzealous here, but we just talked about a certain game that they had time. They had ample time because they just delivered big time in the fall. They had time and they delivered anyway. So we need to make it clear. The message should be, give them time, especially Forza. I know it's not one of the first, because I'm so glad you said it, because I didn't even think of that. But Forza is a flagship. This is one of the most important series for Xbox. That was another on the box game, man. Like, that is a huge franchise that you cannot jeopardize. So I really do hope they learn from Halo Infinite. If this does need that extra time, they give it to them. It's interesting, though, to see how he speaks about the multiple phases of game development, only because it's very different depending on teams. The phases and the process are the same, but the length can be different. Like, an RPG may take longer in the pre-production because you have to set up a lot of systems and tweak a lot of numbers, versus what they're doing here, where they're rethinking what a Forza game is, which I can't say with a complete affirmation what that actually ends up being like outside of a racing game. But I digress. It's just interesting to see how they speak about it. And yes, polish is super important. It's why you see games like, I talk about Biomutant a lot as a really strong example of a game that did bite off more than it could chew. It's a game that when you see it in the trailers, you see it in the gameplay, it really calls out to you. Looks like it's a do everything game. But because it did too much, none of it really gets the polish, the shine. And it's exactly what Dan is saying here. So Just wanted to add those additional comments, but otherwise, Forza is still on the way for 2023, it would seem, but a little bit of a development update on that. Next, 8 additions to Game Pass announced during ID at Xbox Showcase. So this is that Twitch showcase that I got to just throw out there. Xbox, man, get rid of this format. Get rid of this format. It is really fucking bad, man. This was another, I didn't watch it this time because I know better. This is another 3-hour show where indies are being outshined by Twitch personalities. And look, shout out to my content creation brethren. Get your money, but Xbox, know better for your indies. I am an indie developer. It's terrifying to think a game of mine could at one day possibly be revealed there. I don't know, man. I think about that and how easily it's overshadowed, how uninteresting it is as a format. Before we get into the games, I just want to throw out there, stop this nonsense. All right, let's talk video games. Amazing Cultivation Simulator for PC. That's coming to Game Pass today, September 14th. Valheim for PC. We learned about this already. It's coming to Game Pass for PC September 29th. It's going to be available on a console in 2023. Keep that in mind. Evil. It's Eville. It's coming to Game Pass October 11th. It's a multiplayer social deduction game. Homestead Arcana. It's to be announced, but that's coming to Game Pass this year, where you become a farming witch. That was a very popular theme over at the Nintendo Direct. So best of luck to all the farming games out there. You're fighting an uphill battle for sure. Mm-hmm. Rainbow Billy, The Curse of the Leviathan. That's also coming to Game Pass this year. It's a 2.5D adventure puzzle platformer. This is a game we have seen before, The Big Con. It's still set to come out this year. It's a 90s America style adventure game coming to Game Pass day one. The Walking Dead, the final season. This was a bit of a surprise. Day one Game Pass. It's coming out this year. And Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. It's coming to Game Pass in 2023, where it's a comedic action adventure game with roguelike elements where you play as a turnip that's committing felonies. So it's really out there. But Cog, anything on this list jumping out to you? I think you and I, we made eye contact on the one that...
Yes. It's clever time. It's clever time. I'm always going to have an emotional connection to that game. You know, Telltale, that was the one that put them on the map. That was what did it. And the story of her and Lee, and then obviously the story continued. I pretty much played every single one. So I haven't
played since the first season.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. A lot of people felt oversaturated. A lot of people, tuned out. So I get it. I'm curious to see where they go with it. I'm dying to see, if they put a ribbon on the ball with it, or if they do something to mess with us again. So
they're calling it the final season, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but you lead me to believe things, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
We'll see. She got a daughter. I mean, she got to take care of a little boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait, she has a kid?
Well, she's taking care of one.
Oh.
Yeah, she's taking care of one. Yeah.
I was like, last time I saw her, she was...
I got knocked up.
Yeah, I was like, who laid the pipe? What?
Who laid it? During the apocalypse.
Yeah. Why? It's the same. I couldn't help but think of that during when I was watching The Walking Dead. I used to love... That was one of my favorite TV shows ever, by the way.
Yes, me too.
One of the best opening episodes. I mean, that pilot, man. Oh, so good. But I always remember, like, during the sex scenes, I'm like, y'all realize what you're doing, right? Like, you're playing with fire. You're playing with fire. It's not like you just go to a hospital and give birth. Like, there's so much about this that's just, I get it. You're a human, but what?
Bro, I'm like, these women love these men here because this is true love. You willing to go through this for this man in this type of condition?
Yeah. And you got cheating going on. Like, that's bad. I'm like, man, y'all being disloyal out here too? Like, holy hell.
Thanks. Yeah. You have to watch it heavy.
All right. Yeah, me too, man. I used to dig. Yeah. I used to even watch Fear of the Walking Dead.
Yeah, the whole bit. I used to watch the series with the guy after talking about it.
Talking Dead.
Talking Dead. It was a whole therapeutic session that you do the mid-season finale, and I was all in. I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot when
I stopped at 6.
Yeah, I think after Negan.
Oh, you got to Negan. Interesting.
No, I got to Negan. No. I need it because the people who read the books was like, no, you got to get to this, and that was worth it. But I think it was like the season maybe after Negan, and they started just doing weird things, and then it just became the commercial thing, and I was just like, okay,
Yeah, that's what it started to feel like for me.
yeah, it lost the heart. Like those first three, I felt were like, wow, this is really good TV. Like I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
After
When did you cut out?
Rick's son, forgetting his name.
Carl, you cut out after Carl when Carl grew up.
Yeah, I remember.
Carl!
I remember Carl. Yeah, Carl, come back in the house. I remember that was like one of my last memories. I remember that. I remember like Beth with Carol. That was one.
Mhm.
Glenn. That was like that era when the OG era, we'll just say, was they were seeing some changes in the world. That's when I was like, I'm gonna take my business elsewhere now. So thank you, Walking Dead, for the memories.
No doubt, no doubt.
It's recap time. We have a lot of showcases to go over. State of Play being the first one, because I thought this was fantastic. Easily one of their best. Quick, concise, fire games, COG. First one, show opener, Tekken 8, where we saw the trailer that takes place during the story mode of the game. All that was real-time footage running at 60 FPS. The game's going to have dynamic backgrounds, as we saw, with unique stage effects. The story's going to focus on Kazuya versus Jin. And of course, the game is still in development because they said stay tuned at the end of the trailer. COG, I will not talk any further. This is your baby. You've been playing Tekken 7 these last couple of weeks. What are you feeling about what you saw with Tekken 8?
So proud. So proud.
There's pride there.
Pride, bro. Like, I am so
you got
proud
the
of the
Starfield
gameplay. Listen, man. Like, I know this is defining Duke. I get it. But literally, my entire history tied to PlayStation is because of Tekken. If Tekken did not exist, I would not have bought a PlayStation, because I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember playing Tekken in the arcade. I was like, oh, this is cool. And Virtual Fighters was the thing. Don't get me wrong. Virtual Fighters was the thing. And I was like, nah, but this is kind of cool. And then here comes Sony. They launched their PlayStation. And this is when I fell in love with it, because this was the first time. See, as an older gamer, you're used to sacrifices from the arcade. You're used to like, okay, this ain't really Turtles in Time. This is something. We ain't got 4 players. It's 1 player, and there's always some catch.
Yeah.
Second, not only was it the same, it was better. And this is when Namco banned that. This is when they became my number one. I was a fanboy for Namco. I was just like, because what they did is they added a cinematic narrative for every character when you beat the game. That had never been really done before. I don't remember in fighting games. So it made you want to play as everybody, learn everybody, and then you find out about this wild story about dudes throwing off their sons off cliffs. And I'm like, this is dark. Like, what is going on? Why is Kazuya throwing his father off a cliff? What's happening here, Tekken? And he had the devilish. I said, I love this game. And then you find out about the Devil G, the story. But anyway, this is where it needs to be. Tekken 7, for those who've been living under a rock, was the Hayachi and Kazuya conclusion. Kazuya's that dude right now. And now this is the matchup that everybody wanted to see. Jin Kazama, the chosen one, the son of Kazuya, through Jun on Kazama. Now, they both got the gene. That's his flesh and blood. They both have that devil power. What's going to happen? And look, the game looked absolutely fun. I thought they were lying. I was like, that's cinema. I remember I'm watching the stream.
The same thing. Yeah.
I'm watching the stream with King and Addict, and I'm like, that's a lie. Bro, blatantly, I'm like, there is no way. That's a cinematic. I said, this is great. I'm waiting for them to actually show me the game. When Harada and them came out and said, no, that's Unreal Engine 5, and this is what it is. I was like, oh God, I'm in. I'm in. Yeah, it's over. And I told people that people could say fanboy or lay light. And I watched that end of that thing, and I'm looking, and obviously it's the Sony State of Play. They're going to say PlayStation, right? But there was a part of me, man, I ain't going to lie to you. If this joint would have been exclusive, I'm telling you, Xbox fans, right now, I would have betrayed. That's where I'm going. I'm not even going to hold you. I was like, if I don't see the Xbox Series logo, that's where I'm going. Just so you know. So luckily, it's there. Fine. I can play it wherever I want to play it.
Another
But yeah,
fighter.
bro, I'm
There we go.
so happy. It looks so good. It looks so good. So yeah, take your time, Harada. Do your thing. I'm ready. The last thing I'll say, I am surprised we got 8, only because generally, as a Tekken fan, the cadence is Tekken Tag. I thought we were going to get Tekken Tag 3 before we get 8. So we're getting 8, but yeah, let's go. And the only thing, please, Harada, store like 7. I get it. You paid the big money. You got a Kuma from Street Fighter. I get it. It was iconic. You made it into the lore. Dope. Please go back to the core. Because the main complaint people have with 7 is there's only like, they say you got 30 characters. Only 7, 8 of them actually have a narrative, and the ones that are directly tied to the Mishima storyline. The rest of them, you don't get anything. No storyboard, no nothing. That's not Tekken. And they felt little money grab giving you Tekken 3, Tekken 2 characters. And again, you play with them, no story. Like, no. Go back to what made you great. Everybody. That's why Mortal Kombat is out here mopping the floor with you.
Yeah.
Get back to the Mortal Kombat has that care to the story, to the narrative, the whole theatric. Just do that, and I'm good. I'm good to go. But yeah, the king is back. My king is back.
Absolutely. It looks fantastic, and I can't wait. And I just love that it's coming to Xbox. That's now Street Fighter 6,
huge,
Tekken 8. So this is big.
Huge.
We have to give them the roses on getting fighters there.
Yeah, do not lose it. You better pay.
And no 720p Tekken 8.
And no 720p, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So want to give you the stage on that one because I'm very much a casual Tekken fan. I love it. Like I played a lot of 7, but it's funny because to me it's one of the best feeling fighters out there. It's got a swagger to it. Like I just love how that game feels. So I do hope they can show me the storytelling chops because I didn't even know until I started talking to you. I didn't know the lore was that serious. But you know why? I saw a video. It's been on my recommended a lot lately. It said, I think it was something like all of the lore in Tekken or a breakdown of all of the Tekken lore. And it's like a million plus views video it's an hour and a half long. Yep. It's just breaking it all down. I want to watch it because I'm thinking, what Cog's talking about.
Yeah, it got some story. Listen, is it wacky and ridiculous sometimes? Yeah, absolutely. But it's got some charm to it. It got history for sure. People follow it.
I mean, of course, it's got wacky ridiculous. Like there's that one character that's head will drop off of their shoulders for a knockup combo.
Yeah, Alicia, the little Boskalovich, the daughter. Yeah, oh my God, the robot daughter.
All right, continuing on with the COG celebration. Like a Dragon Ishin. It's coming out. It's coming to Xbox. Kunai Party writes in, hey Dukes, at the recent TGS Ryuga Gotoku, I actually don't know if I said that right, unveiled 3 new Like a Dragon Yakuza games. At this point, Maddie, we're entering business decision territory. Is one being a Souls-like period piece something that might actually earn your interest, Maddie? As always, have a Mets may make the playoffs only to get bounced in the first round kind of day. Yeah, man. At least we're not collapsing. We just have a good team on our heels.
Yeah, we got Atlanta's still there. What's funny is some fanboys try to get on us like, look, Atlanta's in first place. And then like literally the next day we took the first place right back. So I love that. But yeah,
I wanted to win, man. I said months ago, I was like, I'm not buying in. I don't know about this team.
Once we saw that yourself.
But no, once we saw that trade deadline, I went, Steve, no, that was not it. That was a bad deadline. So we'll see if the prophecy comes true. But
yes.
Yeah, I wanted to clear up Kunai slander here. Kunai doing me dirty. A lot of last name fans doing me dirty, thinking that Yakuza Like a Dragon. I wonder if that's why people were so on my heels because they thought it was my first one.
Yes,
that's probably
what
it is. I'm a vet, man.
Woo!
So yeah, I'm in on all of these. So thank you for asking, Kunai. In all seriousness, appreciate you writing in. Let's talk about Like a Dragon Ishin. This is a PS3 Japan exclusive game. It's making its way to the West because the series has become that popular. They are remaking it from the ground up. It's a feudal Japan Yakuza game. COG, I mean, man, I already knew about this game. I had a feeling just based off how the series has grown, it had to eventually come. But a remake? Hello. I like that. That is very exciting. How do you feel, my friend, about more Yakuza on the way?
Oh, let's go. Sega out here monetizing, but in a good way. Like, listen, man.
This is a part of that strategy that they posted, remember?
Yep.
Yeah. Remasters and remakes.
Yep. Remasters, remake, top franchises, spin-offs, all. Let's go. This looked really good. This impressed me. I was a little nervous because prior to this, I didn't know about. I knew 8 when Ichiban was going to come, but I was like, oh, maybe it's way off. You know what I'm saying? Not as close as I thought. And I'm like, but don't get me wrong, this looks good.
Yeah,
I definitely gonna give it a shot. I'm all three. I'm in all three.
absolutely. Yeah, me too, man. I think it looks fun. The gameplay looks really slick and smooth. So I'm about
Yeah.
what's going on here. A lot of feudal
Let's
Japan
go.
energy here in this
Yes.
state of
Yes.
play.
Mm-hmm.
An exclusive quest for PlayStation was shown off for Hog Leg. I
Mm-hmm.
want to shout out Chris Giar, who writes in here, or it's Giller, you let me know, because he used my term. This is how you guarantee your entry to the show. Chris is playing chess out here. He writes, Howdy Dukes. The trailer for the Hog Leg PS exclusive mission just dropped, and I'm quite disappointed I have to wait a year for it. While I'm not usually a vindictive person, I found myself hoping Xbox would play hardball a bit more with their exclusivity. Once the ABK deal goes through, do you think we could see Xbox make more exclusivity trades with PlayStation? For example, we'll keep COD on PlayStation for another year, but you have to drop the Final Fantasy remake exclusivity. Thanks, and hope you have a Yakuza-tastic day. Thank you, Chris. So yeah, we're seeing PlayStation, we're seeing Portkey Games throw this back to kind of like the 360 generation here, where exclusive pre-order content for a platform, very odd. But anyway, they're trying to, they're seeing something in Hogwarts Legacy that is, to PlayStation, something they want to invest in and get their fans in on. So it doesn't go as too much of a surprise that they're paying for the exclusive quest. To Chris's question, Cog, do we see Xbox playing hardball? Because I gotta say, I feel like I don't see them doing this. I feel like they're trying to be let PlayStation almost, they won't really business wise, but spiral themselves into the ground on a reputation. Let yourself sit there and be the benevolent force of gaming, right? These people in the games industry, they change their opinion at the drop of a hat. So benefit from the benevolence. Just be the good guy the whole way through. You can have COD and you can have that quest. And then you serve with a firm hand when the time is right. Oh, Elder Scrolls 6? Yeah, maybe 5 years away, but that'll be exclusive. We're not explaining that again. Serve
Mm-hmm.
it firmly, so that's respected. And otherwise, I just don't see them currently playing hardball, right? I think it would be very shocking if ABK goes through and they go, all right, now what do we lock down? They've made so many public promises to reassure people, not just to regulators, but of course to fans. It would look so bad if they just changed it at the drop of a hat. That'd be very bad. But Cog, I'm curious as to your thoughts of an exclusive quest for Hogleg on PlayStation, as well as should Xbox play hardball?
Look, par for the course. I'm not surprised as a person who, again, Destiny. I'll use the example ad nauseum. Who played exclusively, primarily on Xbox. I remember exclusive missions, maps, exotics. That's just how it was. You had to make a decision, and PlayStation is very, very smart about that. If they find something that they think is going to be pulse of the culture, the next big thing, they are going to try to tie themselves to it. They made the bet on that. One that didn't work out was probably Avengers, because I know they took the bet on Spider-Man, and I thought it was a smart bet. It's just that the game didn't work out, the way they did, and then it failed how it failed. But yeah, this is what they do. You know what I'm saying? All I say is, not to get into fanboy stuff, that the business model has been consistent, that this is what they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to now the question, the hardball, at first, normal rational cog is 100% with you, right? And I was just like, you know what? Take the moral high ground. You've got to get the deal through. You have to show that as Microsoft, you're going to play nice. Call of Duty is going to be everywhere. But I have to admit, I think last DD, Jim Ryan's statements may have some ripple effect.
You think about Awaken the Beast?
Not from a complete petty standpoint, but I will say this. I think it's interesting that he said, remember the key word was inadequate. The deal he felt was inadequate. And I know we focused on the years. The only thing that got me thinking now is when you say it, he said inadequate on many levels. What were the other levels that you didn't find inadequate?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not saying I know anything. I'm just saying we still don't know the whole story in Jim Ryan's defense. What if Microsoft was like, hey, we'll give you all of this and extend maybe for that. Or maybe you loosen up your things on other things. It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's completely out of the range. It could be limited to ABK, but I am curious because I always thought it was weird. Look, I get it. Stakeholders, he's trying to defend his company. He's trying to make the deal, give more scrutiny to the deal or more eyes on the deal. Jim Ryan, I get that. But I am curious if there was something legitimately that he's like, nah, Microsoft, you bugging. Right? And I got to be fair, right? Yeah. So what if one of them things is like, yeah, and all that other stuff you got, maybe you loosen it up and, hey, you want Call of Duty? You want that? I see you like it, right? you like that, but you never know. You never know. One thing I learned about these Brazilian things and then you never know. So that's what I want to see. But to the last point, I'll just say, look, I think once the deal, I will say this, I think once the deal closes and the smoke finally clears, man, I think there is legit beef.
Yes.
I think 100%. That it is on. And anything that Microsoft might have been a little more lenient to letting go, you best believe it's going to be reconsidered.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that in that building, they're not looking at the Microsoft building, that they are not looking at those comments from many standpoints, and maybe legal. Who knows?
Yeah, I think you make a very fair argument on that side of the fence too. I feel as if they've benefited so much from being benevolent that when you start to lock stuff down, by the way, I should mention, I am pro exclusive because I think that's what you build your whole platform around. I'm the one who's championed the idea of not just Game Pass for these JRPGs that I want on Xbox. Like, go make your own and build the culture around your platform. They'll come.
Respect.
But I just feel like when it comes to these things, PlayStation's been making a fool of themselves. I just feel they've consistently done that. Let them. I don't know if it's hurting them or helping them, but certainly in the public eye, it's not helping them. But I think you're right. I could see maybe not spite, but he doesn't seem to really respect our business arrangements. But at the same time, Phil spoke first. So do they take accountability and go, we shouldn't have said that? And again, continue that high ground approach that they've done.
It could be. I think high ground all the way up into the close of the deal. I want to know what happens after the deal.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
How they act after is going to be really key. Is something immediately lined up? Yeah, we bought this now. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I wouldn't be surprised they get bullish. And we know they said they're not done. Yeah. That is clear. They on record, they have said they are not done. So buckle up.
You are right that once the deal closed in March, that Xbox really did start to come out, and like I remember Aaron Greenberg saying, I don't know how many times we got to explain this, Starfield will be exclusive, Elder Scrolls 6 will be, like, it was kind of a cutthroat, if you will, behavior if you compare it to what we had saw previously from them leading into the deal. So yeah, I think you're reading the tea leaves a little better than I perhaps, but I think it can go either way. We'll see.
It can go either way. Your point is extremely sound, because business wise, it makes sense to just chill out, relax, kind of thing. But I'm dying to know what happens with the deal close.
I would kill for I was gonna no, you finish your thought. Mine's immature.
No, go.
I was gonna say I would just kill for one of these, like Phil or Jim, just kind of lose their cool on camera. Just be kind of like, yeah, Jim's a fucking asshole, honestly.
About to get spicy. Your man say, yo, I intended for this to stay private, but since Phil is out here talking, it don't get no more spicy than this. So I want to see. 2023 gonna be lit either way.
Yes. Shout out to Chris for the write-in. Let's talk about Pacific Drive and Sin Duality. These were both shown off. Pacific Drive is the first game from Ironwood Studios, which was newly unveiled. It is a driving survival game. And then Sin Duality is like a third-person mech game. I personally didn't have much interest in either of these. Pacific Drive in particular, I thought looked a little rough, but I'm curious if you had any thoughts you wanted to throw out on those.
Nah, that's one of them that had the little station wagon running around with the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I've never.
I didn't see more. Right, nothing really moved me.
Yeah. This one is an interesting development. So during the state of play, they go, "Oh, these next two games you see are going to be console exclusive." So I sit back and you dial in a little bit more. So Stellar Blade, this was originally known as Project Eve. This was there at the last PlayStation showcase. They did the main one where we saw, KOTOR remake and all that good stuff. However, what I had learned upon additional research is that this was originally announced to be coming to Xbox when the game was revealed in 2019. And it has now been moved into a console exclusive on PlayStation 5. This game does look phenomenal, and I am very interested in it, but quite the development indeed. Cog, does this support your argument of a little more hardball incoming from Xbox? Where they go, you're going to take Stellar Blade from us?
Listen,
Square,
I didn't know that.
Sony knows what they're doing.
Bro, the shout out. I got to shout out. We had ACG on recently, and I agree with what party said. There's a Cold War about to start again. You can't tell me that there's a lot part that might not be reactionary on that level because I didn't even know. I thought this was already I didn't know that this was planned to come to Xbox, and now it's not. So this is how. Listen, Sony knows what they got to do. You gotta fight fire with fire. You gotta listen. COD is coming. This Activision Blizzard stuff is coming, and you've got to make your console attractive. You've got to whatever you did. And I give Sony credit on this level. They have their fingers on the pulse of what's about to be the next biggest, hottest, or the coolest looking thing. They really miss on those. Like I said, the rare miss.
Good, man.
Yeah, Forspoken, I got to see where that go. But overall,
yeah, it might be
okay.
a miss.
That might be a miss. But overall, I'm okay with the decision. I understand why they made it. Avengers exclusive stuff, that was a miss. But for the most part, outside of those two little, for the most part, they are on. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to get, no, you didn't actually have it in, when we get to the Nintendo stuff and the Sifu, and there's certain things that they are on. And it behooves them to make these things exclusive. Listen, I'm with you. I'm about exclusive. I've never had a problem with it.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem either side. My thing is I don't like the whining and the crying. And I get it. Well, it's not the same, Cog. One's buying an ownership. But if you own something, you can do what the hell you want to do with it.
Yeah.
You don't get no say if somebody owns something. You can't cry after someone owns something. Oh, well, go do what you do. To me, what they did was what I expected them to do from the beginning instead of the crying, which is have a phenomenal showcase and show why your games are the best.
Yep.
Just do what you do. Same thing with Nintendo. Like, yo, we are in our own lane. We ain't paying y'all no mind. We ain't got no Call of Duty. We outside. Like, we don't care. Do what you do. There's no need. But what it showed me, and again, not to make it a fanboy thing, their reliance and how important COD is to them. And that losing that revenue, Sov said it best on ILP. They're willing to take the public optics beating. They know that looks bad. But if it's a chance to blow it up, they're doing it. So that showed me how important that is with it. And you kind of got caught with your live service third-party thing, your skirt down there. Like, it's just what it is. Maybe and like you said, Maddie, I'm with you too. There's a part, maybe you got to buy a little time. Damn, I wasn't expecting this. We gotta when the bungee joints was gonna be ready. Like, okay, bro, like it's a cold war, and you telling me this? I didn't know this, man. Yeah. Watch out!
Yep.
People getting scooped up. Yep. Game's about to get scooped up.
Indeed. So yeah, things are accelerating on that front. And it's going to be interesting to see what else develops out of there. And, this is why PlayStation's sitting in a pretty fortuitous position, because you see Team Ninja is on a spree right now. Again, what I said when I saw Wo Long stays true even more so after seeing Rise of the Ronin, because when I played Stranger of Paradise at the beginning of this year, I went, there's no fucking way this is the best this team has to offer. There's no way. This game's bad. People coming at me. What do you mean, bro? It's Team Ninja. My reviews get dislikes. Like, okay, yeah, man, you really got me there. This is what I'm talking about. When you see Rise of the Ronin and you see Wo Long take a good, hard, long look at Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin and tell me this is where the resources weren't going, right? It's all going into those two games. Wo Long looks phenomenal. Now they reveal a console exclusive in 2024, Rise of the Ronin. And this game, man, ooh, I mean, you saw a little bit of like almost colonialism vibes in certain stretches. Bayonet stabbed into the enemy's head, took the shot after. I mean, this game, it looks really good. This is a great get, but
fire.
PlayStation fired back. Think about it. Xbox got one, day one on Game Pass. It's still coming to PlayStation. PlayStation locked down the other, though. And it's interesting because what this does is pushes Neo out of the equation, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Rise of the Ronin? This is another COG game.
Oh, yeah. Bro, this is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Like, I'm sitting there, we're watching the showcase. I'm like, man, this showcase is fire, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yo.
Consistent.
And then what happened next?
You want to get into it?
Let's go right into it.
God of War Ragnarok shows up. At first, you see the controller and you go, oh, no. But no, they're not that silly. They show off a phenomenal trailer. Look, I was Team Sonic, but I might be switching jerseys right now. I might be switching jerseys right now. I liked a lot of what I saw there, man. That was undeniably good. I saw it. It started to come back to me why you like we all like the first God of War. It's like, that was epic, bombastic. There was tension in the relationships. Oh, man, this looks so goddamn good. I'm happy they're finally starting to take the lid off of it. One of my minor concerns, I don't think PlayStation's earned my concern on an exclusive front yet, but one of my minor concerns is that they're really, really close to the vest right now. It's like, is this going to come out this year? Like, what is the plan? But looked really good. What are your thoughts, sir?
Same, man. And this is where, for me, I told people, like, this is where the Starfield and the Redfall are going to really hurt. The delay is going to hurt because I'm telling y'all now, when Sony games like this, the AAA, the banger, the kids call them, right? They come outside, it changes the zeitgeist. This is why I know people, listen, I know what Starfield would have done. Right? I'm not comparing them one to one. This is better than the other. I just know a Bethesda, AAA, A-Team, sci-fi Starfield out on Xbox, exclusive to Xbox, is going to shake the earth. I know God of War, Ragnarok, is going to shake the earth. And this is what I expected. I'm like, yep, there it is. And it's most likely going to make, the holiday, most likely. I know King's knees are in. King and Attic have a bet, but it's not. Attic looking very good right now.
Yeah.
Attic, King look like them knees is gone. I love you. But he holding on to the very end because he thought it was over when the controller came. He's like, just bring out a controller. It's not good.
He's feeling good.
Rest of that trailer came out. We was like, boy. Woo! Yeah, it looked phenomenal. It looked absolutely phenomenal. Can't wait. I'm replaying Part 1 on my Steam Deck while I've been messing around.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How's it run?
So it actually runs pretty good. It actually runs pretty good. I was actually impressed.
Consider doing a little rerun because it's been a while.
Throw that and mess around with the FSR settings and stuff like that. Actually runs pretty decent, man. Look, this looks great. Can't wait. The question is going to be, the only question now is for you and the Elden Ring guys, I've already considered Elden Ring the lock. You know what I mean? I want to know what
competition. Yeah, this is the competition. It's arrived.
This is the competition. It's arrived.
Imagine being all the other games that come out this year. You're like, man, we're not the competition. I mean, of course, but these two, you could just tell they're just on different levels. There are levels to this thing, and Elden Ring has been the really primary standout, and then this looks up there for sure.
Yeah, kudos to Sony. I think this was their best state of play in years. I generally have not liked the state of plays recently, unless when it's like the focus on a single game like a Horizon or Ratchet, but I felt like the ones that I've had multiple games I really didn't like, this was their best. It was boom, 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 get into it. Xbox, take notes. Take notes sometimes. This is what we want to see.
So I'm talking about the ID at Xbox showcase, bro.
That's what
you can't be fucking around with that stuff. It's bad. The ID at Xbox should absolutely be embracing the state of play format. They shouldn't be separate, by the way. combine them into one, and do these short burst ones. Because Xbox, with the amount of output they have, plus day one Game Pass, they'd be having shows constantly.
Certainly. You got to feed the streets. You got, especially 23, you got to have content. You got to feed the streets. And I would love it this way. That's why I said, Sony, if they do what they do, they'll be okay. Like I said, this was a phenomenal show.
Yep.
Kudos to them.
100%. Nintendo also had a show. They announced it, and then the next day it was here. It was a 40-minute Nintendo Direct. Now, we're not going to go over every game here. I wanted to make sure, in line with our Xbox, that we just keep an eye on the multi-platform games. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. So yeah, most of them coming to Switch only. First one, we talked about it a bit. Obviously not coming to Xbox, but still wanted to offer thoughts on it because we talked more about the business aspect earlier. Octopath Traveler 2. Man, when that theme hit, oh my God. Look, I got to put it out there for those who don't know. Octopath Traveler to me is, one of the best. Like, not in the terms of my Fallout 3, KOTOR, those types of games, Persona 5 Royal. It's not in that bunch. But if we're looking at like a top 30, it's up there because of that visual style.
Huge.
Visual style.
It's so beautiful.
It's the game that unlocked that part of me where I went, there are games that visually grab me from start to finish. It was a nice harken back to a classic style of JRPG. The story isn't that great, but the adventure, the music, the art style, put a goddamn asterisk on it, the art style. It is so good. Now in Octopath Traveler 2, day and night cycle. So in the first one, you got path actions. By the way, download it on Game Pass, try it yourself. You'll see you got path actions per character. Some can intimidate, some can bribe. But now your path action changes depending on the time of day it is. It still has that adventurous spirit, but it looks like they've addressed the criticism. The stories are intertwining now. COG, in the first game, man, they were all separate. So it was 8 people traveling together and you'd have these one-off stories. I was like, what's going on, man? Now, more cohesive. This is a true party. I am so excited. The biomes look diverse. The music again, man, I just got a shout out. My heart started to sing when I heard it. This looks phenomenal. It's coming out soon. It's coming out soon in February.
Coming somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry to all the listeners. I know, but I am there day one.
Respect.
Oh my God. So very excited for this one. Any thoughts you want to throw in there on this?
Not much to add, man. Listen, I didn't get a chance to play the first one, but everyone raves. I talked to Addict. It was probably, when me and Addict talk JRPG, I love his insight. And you got to get him on some more JRPG stuff. I want to JRPGs is his thing. And he told me, he was like, bro, like one thing he prides himself, I call him the difficult game conqueror. That man, I remember this man was almost broken by some of these balls. He was like, I guess it was like tough. Yeah, he was saying like they were more like side questy kind of stuff, not mandatory. But his ego, he gotta Yeah, he gotta go around the map and clear things out. And he was just like, "Cog, this is the hard, like, bro, this one boss." I haven't heard him talk like that since like Final Fantasy D. Like certain boss just broke him, and he's just like, and I remember I got the call. He's like, I did it. I got him. I was like, damn, you still was fighting that thing. So yeah, I love to hear it. The classic art style. The only thing I will say, there's a big JRPG civil war right now.
Yes, sir.
With the Octopath guys and the Triangle Strategy guys.
Yeah. And
this is where my shout out to my boy Flame from LordsOfGaming.net, Joe Repco. Like, they are like, nah, Triangle's the joint. So now it's like part of it, I gotta play because I want to know, like, it's a serious thing, Octo versus Triangle. Where you at with it?
I think, okay, if we're looking at the design of a game, okay, I like Octopath a lot because of what it did, right? Like, for example, I look at KOTOR, one of my favorite games of all time. I don't pitch it to people as a favorite of all time because it's a wonderful gameplay experience, right? But what it did at its time was transformative to me. I look at Octopath in the same light. I think Triangle Strategy absolutely is the better game from top to bottom. I just think that when you look at Octopath and what it did, it was transformative. It gave birth to a whole new genre. How often do you see that? How often do you see that? The HD 2D era is here, right? Beautiful. The last time we had that was Souls. That was the last time. It's exceedingly rare. So I embrace that type of stuff, and this was right up my alley. But Triangle Strategy, I think, would be more up your alley. It's
Okay.
it's I don't know. I go
The
back and forth.
decision part sounded like it got me a
Yeah.
little bit more interested.
It does have a little bit. I don't want to use this as a term to kind of push you away, but when I say Danganronpa energy, I mean you will sit there and not actually Trails energy. Sorry, not Danganronpa.
Okay.
Danganronpa is the one you can relate to, where it'll sit there and you'll talk and you'll
Yes, I heard there's a lot of talking and
you'll talk, and it helps because by chapter 4 or 5, which isn't too many hours into the game, you have a good feeling of the world, all the kingdoms. It's literally 16-bit Game of Thrones if you want a sales pitch.
Yes.
And I just feel that one will speak to you more. But Octopath Traveler 2, man, now it's sneaking up, and they might sway the war in the other direction. We'll see. And there's Live Alive out there. Oh, my.
Yeah.
So,
JRPGs are eating.
yeah, they are, man. Next, GoldenEye 007. Again, we talked about the situation surrounding it, but the core of the game here, Cog, were you excited to see this announced at the showcase?
Yeah, excited for the people who definitely interested. I know there's a big contingent, that are interested, just obviously based on the circumstances.
Yes.
Cog will pass. Yes.
I'm excited to
salute to them. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
But it's achievements in Game Pass. No, I might just throw it on just to see how I do. I might. It's Game Pass. I cannot not try. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It is Game Pass.
Yeah, I want to try it as well because I personally haven't played, like I said earlier, the single player campaign. So I'm looking forward to diving in and seeing what it's all about, seeing what the rave is. But I know it's always been about the multiplayer. I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about the GoldenEye campaign. Maybe I'll be surprised though. But I grew up on the James Bond games, man. Those were I don't think I talk about that enough, man. That was my jam, man. Like Agent Under Fire, Everything or Nothing.
Okay.
These were amazing video games. Nightfire is to me, like, that's my GoldenEye. The way people talk about GoldenEye, Nightfire, 007 Nightfire, that snow level to open up the mission, the multiplayer. Oh, man, take me back. That was so good. All right, we got a JRPG announcement. Surprise, surprise. Tales of Symphonia Remastered. I will advise caution on this one, though. Okay? It is coming to Xbox, by the way. But 30 FPS only due to the way the port is working here. And this is a big deal because the GameCube version runs at 60 FPS. So know that the older version of Tales of Symphonia is better and runs better. So this is something you may want to consider, but it is another Tales game. Bandai supporting the box. It's another Tales game that is coming to Xbox, signifying that Sega and Bandai do have Xboxes back, it would seem.
Yes.
But I do want to steer people possibly away from a purchase they may regret. There are no real technical enhancements on a frame rate level. However, this was my first Tales game. I don't think I ever beat it, but man, I loved it when I played it. I loved it when I played it.
Your first one?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
All right, next we got Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. I was surprised to see this one is coming to Xbox, but it is. Horror game. It's coming out in 2023, however, unfortunately. So I'm missing a bit of a window here in October, I think. Have you played any of the Fatal Frame games?
I have not.
I've heard terrifying things. We had Miles on. I think this was one, and Silent Hill 2 is the one he tried to steer me away from. Now, I made a bet with my friend. And
you going to do it?
He said, if you play Silent Hill 2, I'll play Dead Space. And so I'll ride or die for the first Dead Space, man. So I was like, all right, fine.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Okay.
So
that's a good one.
Maybe if I'm feeling bullish, maybe one day we'll get into Fatal Frame, but I don't know, man. I'm worried for my heart. I'm so worried. For those who don't know, in Resident Evil 8, there's that section with the dolls. I forgot the exact name of it, but the section with the dolls. I was screaming, hyperventilating. I was losing it, and I don't even think it was that bad in hindsight. I'm like, apparently Silent Hill 2 is just downright terrifying.
It's just the atmospheric. It's not a jump scare type of game for the most part. It's just, you're so uncomfortable. You don't want to be here in the things that you're doing.
I could get about that because I remember the most ballsy I've been. Maybe this game isn't that creepy to some, but Alan Wake. I remember Alan Wake, something awoken in me. I was playing with the lights off by myself. I was running into the mist like, yo, you ain't going to stop me. Like, I got the flashlight. I'm fine. But That was the one. I felt some type of different energy. And I'm hoping I get
Mhm.
that Alan Wake energy here when I go into Silent Hill. But yeah, Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse coming out next year.
Salute.
Just a couple of ones here to clean up. Last three:
Mhm.
Oddballers, Endless Dungeon, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Got a release date trailer. Of course, I'm super excited for Crisis Core. But is there anything here that
Oh yeah.
stood out to you that you're looking
No,
forward to?
Crisis Core. I got to get in. You know what I'm saying? Like, for sure.
Come on in.
Zach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got to get the whole story. I can't be a Final Fantasy VII fanboy and not do it right. So
This
I got to
game's
support.
gonna move you, bro. You got to
Yeah.
make sure you play this one, start to finish.
No, I'm playing this. No,
yeah.
this is.
I'm just
7,
letting
like,
you know this is an insistent
bro.
start to finish experience from me. Just because there are things that happen, man, that I think are in particular will move COG.
Listen, Attic already gave me so much of a non-spoilery preview, and he's like, bro, you have to play this game. Like, I love that universe. So it's on. Like, I've always wanted to play it. Now it's perfect because like, damn, I don't want to go back to the old and I gotta go get the joy. Like, it would have been so much. Now I was like, oh, you're making it accessible for me. And thankfully Xbox has it. Wow. Don't get the remake, but you get this. All right, cool. I'll take it.
A little better. So that's good.
Yes. I'm good.
Now it's time for the Ubisoft Forward recap. Really, really interesting show here. Five, count them, 5 Assassin's Creed games in total we're showing off here. First one, been leaked a ton, covered here on Defining Duke a lot. Assassin's Creed Mirage. As reported, it takes place in 9th century Baghdad. The story centers on Basim, a character that was first introduced in Assassin's Creed Valhalla when he was a young man first learning the ways of the Hidden Ones, which is another faction you do see within Valhalla. Mirage is built as an homage to the early AC titles. That's actually Ubisoft's words, by the way. They say that it's a shorter, narrative-driven game. Again, Ubisoft's words. And perhaps most important, is that they had said that they are ditching the modern arc going forward with Assassin's Creed titles. We'll talk about that because we do have a write-in from Brandon Conley, so we'll talk about that later. But Assassin's Creed Mirage, COG, let's get some thoughts on this one. I am keen to see Ubisoft go back to the more traditional slimmed-down experience.
Yes. This is what I want. I want.
I'm in.
We're gonna talk about the themes about this show and where the direction. But I think I know where they're going. And if they do this theme for guys like me, this type of stuff is considered Assassin's Creed. I'm the guy that likes, you're going to talk Baghdad, you're going to talk Jerusalem, that the old, like, and the through the crowd and the stealth. That's what COG is about. I'm about this.
Yep.
Yeah, you can have me jump off into a stack of hay. I get it. That's what you do.
Yeah.
But it's classic. it's a theme. But yeah. I'm actually excited about this. 100%. I want to see.
The last true AC game, in my opinion, was Unity. That Unity continues to be slept on, by the way. I know
everybody said to go back now,
but it blows my mind. Y'all can check the tapes. My day one review said go play it because that game fucking rocked. It was really good, and it was the last time Ubisoft was ambitious. That launch scared something fierce within them because they had not made a true Assassin's Creed game since then.
You're right, because of the bugs. It probably broke them. Yeah, they got a lot of negative press for that.
Anyone who ever goes back to AC Unity, it's got its bonuses, it's got its benefits, but that map, when you open it up and you see the icons, it is like someone vomited waypoints onto a map. That actually might be doing it a disservice. It is disgusting how many there are. Every chest, every fart, everything is marked on the goddamn map, bro. It is insane. But pulling it back in, Mirage.
Let's go.
Excited. Theme throughout the showcase, though, no gameplay. Lots of code names, lots of CGI. That was disappointing. I thought we would for sure at least see Mirage gameplay.
Yes.
Assassin's Creed, codenamed Red, developed by Ubisoft Quebec, the makers of Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Syndicate. The game will be the next evolution, according to Ubisoft, in Assassin's Creed's open-world RPG design and takes players to the long-awaited setting of feudal Japan. COG, it's happening. It's happening in the RPG design. You just talked about how you're about the old Assassin's Creed. I imagine there might be a bit of a conflict of interest here. I don't know, because this is the type of Assassin's Creed game you're seemingly not a fan of, but at the same time, it's delivering the setting for the shinobi himself. So I have a lot of thoughts because I've been looking forward to this one, but I want to hear yours. You go. I got to run to the bathroom real quick.
Go for it. I am torn. This is a tough one because here's the thing. This is the get out of jail free card that Assassin's Creed has been sitting on and we've been waiting for. Like, bro, you'll sell a bazillion copies if you do feudal Japan. It's like Forza Horizon. Hey, bro, if you ever do Tokyo, Forza, Tokyo Drift Forza, you're going to sell a bazillion. So this to me is indicative of they've been sitting on it. And look, I make no bones about it. Ghost of Tsushima. That's my ninja game. That's my feudal Japan. That's my joint, right? And that was what I was hoping Assassin's Creed would have done. Now, Maddie's right. I'm a little concerned. Look, first of all, I'm happy that it exists. Let me just put it out there. Feudal Japan, it says telling the story of the shinobi. So from a true ninja perspective, I got a battle with my brother, Lord Sovereign. I could be him going at it right now. He's an Assassin's Creed Ubisoft guy. That's one of his favorite franchises. When I put my chest out about Ghost of Tsushima, he's like, oh, it's just kind of Ubisoft. Like, he be slandering. He's very disrespectful. I feel that the game of Ghost of Tsushima, from a character, from an environment standpoint, I still feel
I gotta stop you. Just you made me laugh when you called them disrespectful. Like, I was going to the bathroom. I heard you called slanderous and disrespectful. Like, he really made you feel some type of way. Sorry. Go on.
I am mad with like we got beef. Like, he jumped on ILP, and as soon as he heard this is the true ninja game that we want, and this is the thing. And I'm like, bro. First of all, yes, they did say, which gives me hope. They did say tell a story, Shinobi. Second of all, this is the same dudes who made the other two, Odyssey and Syndicate. These are the map vomiting guys. Mm-hmm. These are the guys who not necessarily about stealth. It's about the fight in the battle. And I don't want my ninja out in broad daylight fighting 1,000 people. Or that's not ninja to me. Mm-hmm. So again, I'm going to reserve judgment, though. I'm going to chill. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to reserve judgment. I want to give them a shot, right? This is the get out of jail free card from Ubisoft. This is when times get low, you pull this, and they did it. I'm happy. Now, the thing comes down to just how they execute. Right. Are you truly going to be an open world stealth? I have questions. That's a lot in the open world, truly. And for those that solve, because, well, it wasn't a true ninja game, Ghost of Tsushima. Of course it wasn't, because the story is a man conflicted with the ways of the samurai, and now saying, look, if we're going to get our country back, we got to do this ninja. I don't care about the honor. I'm caring about the victory, and shiesty tactics be damned, right? Mm-hmm. So I know I just gave Ghost of Tsushima story a little bit in a way, but that's why I don't go crazy that it's not a full ninja game. Now, Ghost of Tsushima 2, talk to me then. The man is a ninja all the way if you beat this game at the end. Mm-hmm. So tell a good story. I just have a little reservations, but I am happy Ghost Code Red Assassin's Creed exists. Let's go. I'm pulling for them. And hey, I will bend the knee. If the game does ninja the way it's supposed to, you give me Tenchu open world, I will bend the knee and say, yo, Ubisoft, you the guys, you did your genre better than anybody else does that genre, and I'll give it up. But I just got to see it.
I always think of that tool you got in Assassin's Creed 3. I wish I remember the name of it, but it's such a ninja tool. It's the one where you'll like be on top of a branch, you'll throw the knife into them, and then you'll jump off the tree and pull them up. That was one of the most brutal assassinations that had ninja energy. I hope they bring that one back. That is easily one of my favorites. But yeah, this is something Carrick and I talked about for a while on ham radio, especially here on DD. Like that was the get out of jail free card. When they were in trouble, they're going to pull it out. So it's a sign of the times for sure. I got to be honest, though, I do feel the window is passed. We have time in, time out, seen multiple feudal Japan games that look great and play great and deliver the Shinobi experience. And, I just feel like Ubisoft could have been those guys. They shouldn't have held on to it for this long. I'm like you, I'm going to reserve judgment. And I do want to see it, and I will likely play it because I don't think I've ever missed I have missed Assassin's Creed games, actually. I'll take that back. But it's rare I do. So I would consider myself a fan of the franchise. So I'm open to it, especially because Ubisoft's artistic design of their worlds is fantastic. The way they build out even to this day, even something like in Far Cry 6. I didn't like that game at all, but the world design itself, visually speaking, maybe not navigation-wise, looks so good. They just set up vantage point after vantage point, because it's literally the core of their gameplay design, so it makes sense, but just continuously delivers treats to your eyes. So I cannot wait to see that part of the game, but playing it is a different story. I am a little worried. You got Rise of the Ronin, Ghost of Tsushima, likely a sequel. I mean,
Yep.
there's so many options. Neo exists. You're going to have other options, even though it's more Chinese history focused. Long. I just feel we've entered an era of feudal Japan, which is great, by the way. It's better than the era of zombies that we were bathing in for a while. Now we're getting a lot of feudal Japan. Trek to Yomi. Just feel like there's so many answers out there for everyone.
You're
where
right.
I just, not that it's going to do bad. I just feel it always could have done better.
Oh, no, absolutely. And look, I will say this too. You got a good point. They've allowed people to occupy the space that they owned and started with the setting that they should have come out with. So to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still say this. Shout out to my PlayStation guys that's listening, LSM. There's something about the duel of Ghost of Tsushima. Have you done the duels in Ghost of Tsushima? Have you ever done that, Manny?
Yeah, of course.
Bro, that is a next level cinematic. The click, you know what I mean? The look, that is an essence thing. There's certain things that Ghost of Tsushima does. I'm like, man, that is amazing. So I'm just worried that they ain't got in their own space because 2 is coming. 2 is coming. We saw what Ghost of Tsushima numbers did as far as what's really the number one IP over there. I'm just saying the Ghost is outside. But enough of Ghost of Tsushima. Look, I'm pulling for it. Let's go red. I want to see what you do.
Just a side note as we're recording, it's been reported that G4 has had a multitude of layoffs. About 15 to 20 people have been laid off of G4, and this is less than a year after its comeback. So I'm sure we all kind of saw this coming, but just a heads up that it's happening.
Yeah, no, thanks for the info. I had no idea. Wow.
All right, next up, Assassin's Creed codenamed Hex or HEXE. Ubisoft writes, Red and Hex will both be a part of Assassin's Creed codename Infinity, a hub that will connect players through different types of Assassin's Creed experiences, old and new. Infinity will also bring multiplayer back to Assassin's Creed with a standalone experience. So they say old and new. And what this does get me thinking of is, will there be different styles of experience? Like, will Red, for example, be an older type of, or I'm sorry, Hex will be more of an older type of experience because they described Red as the open world RPG design evolving what already exists in things like Valhalla and Odyssey, whereas Hex may be a more older style experience in Infinity. I'm not quite sure by their wording here, but they're creating a multiplayer experience. Like, they're going all in on this. And it's funny because what happened was, people may not remember, Assassin's Creed was annualized for a while.
Yeah.
And people said, enough. Give it space. They gave it space. And this is why, again, you need to pay close attention. This is a sign of where they're at. They are in, whether it shows or not, desperation mode, because they have ramped up their number one IP with five games. Technically 6 if you include the multiplayer experience, man. They are going all in. That's why Tencent is injecting money in them, because they said, oh, okay, I like your vision here. I see money in this down the line. That's why Ubisoft will likely sell soon. They are investing in service. Far Cry will be a service. Assassin's Creed will be a service. Embrace games like Mario and Rabbids. Embrace them. I don't know if they'll be around much longer. Watch Dogs will be a service. This is where Ubisoft is going. But Cog, any thoughts on Hex and the multiplayer experience as well?
You nailed it. You're on fire. That's literally my mindset, which is, I think they're Call of Duty Assassin's Creed. Like, it's coming. You're getting it. And to me, they know that's their ace in the hole. That's the thing that brings the bread. And you nailed it right with the history to now it look like it's getting back into that cadence, and you're going to get some Assassin's Creed. That's my only concern. Does the desperation affect the quality of these games?
Yep.
And, you know, we understand for these type of things to happen. This is kind of like a cinematic universe of Assassin's Creed. Which one do you want? Oh, you didn't like this one? Well, we got this one. We got this. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
I just hope the quality doesn't suffer. That's my only thing.
I agree. Next, Assassin's Creed codenamed Jade. For those who want to take Assassin's Creed with them everywhere they go, there's Assassin's Creed codenamed Jade, a AAA RPG action-adventure for mobile devices set in ancient China. The free-to-play game will allow players to create their own character and discover a unique standalone story profile. I'm going to say this also. There is a 5th Assassin's Creed game, which is involving a Netflix partnership, which they call an original Assassin's Creed game. So, yeah, they are going in on mobile Assassin's Creed as well with those two. So,
gotta get the mobile bag.
I don't think I got anything to add there. If you do, let me know.
Yeah, I'm good. We know what that is. Salute.
This one pissed me off. Surprise. Matt gets pissed off at least once an episode. Ubisoft's partnering with Netflix. A Valiant Hearts sequel. Talk about that in a moment. A new roguelike inspired Mighty Quest for Epic Loot and an original Assassin's Creed game. These games will be available for members to download at no extra charge with no ads or in-app purchases through the Netflix mobile app. There was an era in the early 2010s with Ubisoft where they started doing these smaller games. Child of Light, Valiant Hearts. Valiant Hearts is one of the best games Ubisoft has ever made. An adventure, puzzle style, World War I, gritty tale, very, very high quality. This was in a time when they were dropping these little games, and I think this would do well because they always put a Ubisoft original, but this has that a Ubisoft original type energy. The fact that it's finally getting a sequel and it's in a fucking mobile game Netflix partnership makes me want to blow my brains out, dude. I am absolutely appalled. I will check it out, but if you have not played Valiant Hearts, do yourself a favor, give it a look. Very emotional game. It's also silent, so you just hear the music, you get the atmosphere, the art. It's not, I promise you, in every way, shape, and form, you won't even believe Ubisoft made this. That and Child of Light are some of the best games they have ever made. To see a sequel coming through a Netflix partnership on mobile, this deserves better. But anyway, Cog, any thoughts on this partnership?
Not much to add. You nailed it. I remember playing Valiant Hearts, and I was like, wow, they're going there, but it's done with care and heart. And it was just a really beautiful little game. I was just like, man, this is really cool. I remember how high it got rated, enjoyed it. And I love when games are courageous to do a kind of a timepiece that sometimes some may look at as controversial. And I think shout out to my man Luke Bernard. I want to shout him out, who Colin has had on before. He's doing something like that in the space. I think it's called The Heart of Darkness. He's touching the whole Jewish and Nazi era kind of thing and stuff like that, and what's going on. But in that kind of a loving kind of an art style, that charming kind of a thing. Yeah. So I'm pulling for him to see if he could pull that off. But yeah, Valiant Hearts that's the OG. That I've never seen that before. That space kind of attack something like that. It was cool.
Absolutely.
But mobile, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Skull and Bones was showing off. It's there. It's coming out November 8th.
$70.
$70. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, another trailer. That's coming out next month. Hell yeah. Can I just get a hell yeah for this one, man? Oh my God. This game looks amazing. First Mario and Rabbids is one of the best Switch exclusives. If you haven't played it,
really good.
Go play it.
It's really
this
good.
looks like bigger and better.
Trust them. That's huge. And now this looks really good.
Yeah. Out of all people, too, fucking Ubisoft. I don't get that.
Ubisoft, like, how did they get that? They salute to them. They pulled that off. They got Nintendo to work with them. That's hell.
The rest of this is awful. Updates on Brawlhalla and Mythic Quest third season, Just Dance 2023, Rainbow Six Mobile, which has a beta starting on September 12th. The Crew 2 has a 6th season, and Riders Republic has a 4th season. And this one looked interesting. Trackmania is coming in 2023. Let's talk with Brandon Conley about what I think all of us want to talk about, which is more Assassin's Creed. Greetings, Dukes. It is being reported today that going forward, Assassin's Creed titles will be ditching the modern arc in its games, and I, for one, think it's vastly overdue. I always hated when I was just starting to vibe with the world building and the story, and they'd pluck me right out of to focus on a boring side story that I didn't want or need. Do people actually like this aspect of Assassin's Creed games, or is it just me? Have a great day, gents. So yeah, Brandon, I've talked with the As Always boys. They run their own podcast. They were formerly like hardcore Ubisoft creators. As Ubisoft got further and further away from what they did well, which were these more historically focused. Granted, they would bend the nonfiction to fit their game worlds, but these types of games, they stopped making content for them. And of course, as more and more shit came out about them as a company and they got more greedy, they just couldn't do it anymore. From what I understand, there is a huge contingency of people that Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3, including things like Brotherhood, very pure era for them, modern arc included. to them, it's considered masterful. To them, it's a special time. But what Ubisoft did well was with something such as Black Flag, where they managed to bend the time period a little bit more, create something more adventurous while still being an Assassin's Creed game and maintaining some sort of a narrative modern arc, where I think in this one you worked for a company, I want to say it was Animus as a company, and you'd explore memories from movies. So it's a little bit more out of the way. But there was a time, Brandon, while critics and fans did complain about it, that there were people who loved it in that 1 to 3. So to answer your question, you're certainly not the only one, but there are people who did like it a lot. Cog, were you one of them?
Absolutely. That's why I fell in love with it. I was just like, wow, I love the historical timepiece. I like that. I mean, the Animus thing was okay, but I just like the fact that they focused on a timepiece and try to be historically as accurate as they possibly could. And it made me want to learn about that time and then, just really dive into it. So, but I look, as much as I love that, and that's my favorite, they have a civil war going on. I think that's why they're marketing themselves like, hey, they're at a crossroads because they built this other adventure game that I don't particularly care for as much, but I'm not going to sit there in front. People love Odyssey. They love Valhalla. They love this new direction, and they've done tremendous. So I get Ubisoft's thinking. It's like you can't necessarily just axe that, because there's a huge core that loves this that we do. So I think what they're doing the Call of Duty. It's like you're going to get the one made by Treyarch, you're going to get the one made by Infinity Ward, and let those guys battle it, and we just rake up all the thing. Again, I just hope that the quality doesn't suffer, because you're putting out a lot of that genre. So we'll see.
Indeed. Next, another recap. Disney and Marvel Games Showcase recap. This was a really interesting one. It had the swiftness of a State of Play with the same dud energy as a Ubisoft Forward. It was a really special time. All right, first reveal that happened was Mike Bithell is working on a Tron game called Tron Identity. Cog, you a Tron fan?
Yeah, I actually like Tron. Okay. It's cool. Shout out to Bithell. He makes some cool games here and there.
Thomas was alone was good.
Yeah. So I think he did the John Wick Hex.
Yes.
I gotta try it. I got it on my hard drive. I still haven't played. I gotta play that just to see what it is. But and it's turn-based. I mean, kind of turn-based in a way, but I gotta see it. But yeah, I'll see what's up.
Yeah, I'm interested, but Tron just reminds me of Kingdom Hearts 2. There's this level before you get to all the good stuff, and Tron isn't known as a bad level. I don't care about Tron. I just wanted to get to the good stuff in Kingdom Hearts. So I definitely have a very skewed perspective of Tron.
I respect it.
This one I'm really excited to get your thoughts on. So Amy Hennig, she's running this new studio, Skydance Media. They announced they're working on a Marvel game. We don't have a title for it, but it is a Black Panther Captain America game where there's a war. They're in France. We saw the Hydra imagery. I'm interested. I want to see more, of course. It was a very nothing announcement in the scheme of things, but because it's involving these heroes crossing over, not necessarily what I expected, especially the setting. Something's off here, but I love it. It's so different that I'm intrigued. What about you?
Same. I think this could potentially be something special. Yes, they didn't show much. I get it, but Amy alone on the project is gonna be huge cachet, and the time period, because I suspect they're gonna go there, especially with Black Panther, which is I guess the grandfather of T'Challa, and we got Cap, who we know he should be there time period wise, but the soldier was frozen. It's supposed to be, I guess, another soldier. It's 4 characters that are focused, and then looks like maybe another member of Romelaje that's down with Black Panther. That's what it seems like based on the imagery. I think they have a potential to tell a really cool story. She seemed pretty excited about it. I'm pulling for her. She doesn't have the greatest luck sometimes with her games coming out and stuff, so I'm just pulling for her to get this thing through. It looks like it's going to be a goal. I think that it could be really potential. I'm a huge fan of hers. Like she's from Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen. That's when I found out. I didn't like, oh, she did that. I was like, oh, that Faye Victus. That was my joint. Like I love that
Uncharted,
game on PlayStation. Yes, Uncharted. Like the history speaks for itself. This has the potential, and I love this. It's a unique combination. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So looking forward to that one. This is all you, my brother. Marvel Midnight Suns arriving on next-gen consoles and PC this year. COG is 2022 saved.
Safe. That's it. I don't care. I don't care what else come out. I don't care. Like, listen, you can tell me God of War delay, Starfield delay. I don't care.
Starfield delay
This,
even.
bro,
Oh,
bro, this was like Starfield number one, of course.
yeah, I know
I'm
what you're
speaking
saying.
out of pocket. I'm out of pocket. I'm being emotional. But yo, if Starfield get delayed, and like I said, Midnight Sun still made it, the year is saved, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so excited. So excited.
So
Like,
good.
A-Team, Firaxis, Jake Solomon, the God, Jake Solomon. Gotta answer my DMs, please. Hey, shoot him a shot. I love Jake. Like, bro, shout out to Mark Nada. He worked with him. He's the one that did XCOM 2, which I consider XCOM 2 the what you call it, the Chosen.
Oh yeah, War of the
That's
Chosen.
the GOAT.
Yeah.
Yeah, the War of the Chosen to me is the GOAT turn-based game. I just the difficulty, it was a turn-based, guys. It was the Souls turn-based. Like it was, you better be on it. One story was amazing. They to me, they're moving the genre forward.
Mm-hmm.
They are the, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to the legend, Jake Gallup and the guys that did Phoenix Point, the OG XCOM guys. But once Jake took it, this is turn-based to the next level. And the faction stuff. Now, this is them with a license. Now, there's a little risk here, right? Because they're adding this card thing. We got to see how that plays out.
I'm not
Right?
worried
It's a
about
new
that
thing.
at all, though.
Me
A
neither.
lot of
Me
people
neither. I'm
are
not either.
really worried. They're like, "Oh,
A lot
card
of people are
passed,"
freaking
and I'm
out.
just like, it's literally just picking your attack. It's like a turn-based
Yes.
game. You just pick your
It's
attack.
just pick your attack. So I'm not worried about that. This is a big deal for the studio because this is them getting a huge license. Marvel is trusting them. So I can see why my beloved XCOM 3 is not coming out right now. They got Jake on this. I get it. But I'm ready. Midnight,
Yeah.
we talked about this kind of edgy Marvel, the Blades, the Wolverine, the ones that are not used as much, getting them to the forefront. Let's go. I am so hyped. Like, I cannot wait. This is probably one of the Starfield, outside of Starfield, this is my most anticipated title. Straight
Absolutely.
up.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited. This was a pleasant surprise when it got delayed. We were like, we don't really know when, and we knew it was 2023, and now it's come back. So they're using the new gen consoles, which is good. We're seeing that more and more. We saw Cyberpunk just recently with its Edge Runner update say, hey, goodbye, old consoles, moving forward. It's all new stuff. Love that. And that means that Marvel Midnight Suns, you should definitely want to pick this one up on current systems and not last gen. Just consider that a warning.
Yes.
Disney Illusion Island, Nintendo Switch exclusive. This was announced, though, by the developers of the most recent Battletoads game, so I thought it was at least somewhat worth talking about. This game is set to come out in 2023. It's kind of this cool little 4-player. It gave me like Shrek 2 energy. I don't know. That gameplay, it had that random co-op element, but the art style looks good, and I hope for a win here. I'm sure that team deserves it because the last Battletoads games wasn't even bad. Just people hated it because of the art style. But that's their thing, and it really lends itself well here to Disney Illusion Island. It looked like the old cartoon, so I was excited by this one. It looks great.
Yeah, look cool.
Disney Dreamlight Valley. It's getting a Toy Story update this fall. We'll talk about that later.
Sure, baby.
Disney Speedstorm announced free-to-play kart racer set to drop this year. I don't know about this one, man. Multiverse,
I gotta see.
Feels like a moment, right? Like this is a really good free-to-play game, but Disney Speedstorm, I don't know, man. With the mobile games we'll talk about, I don't know if the intentions here are the best.
We got, they try to catch a wave of it's clear, but I got to see if they execute. But I mean, Multiverses was, got to give Multiverses, but that's WB. We got to see. I agree though. Their vibe was like, I know what y'all do.
Yeah, I was actually saying when I was reacting to this on stream, please let me pay for this. Just let this be a premium game because I was thinking more so of Chocobo GP. How that came out, had this free-to-play element. It was heavily monetized. It's like, bro, it's a kart racer. It's not that complicated, man. Just fucking sell it. You have the IP there. Come on now.
Yeah, good point. We got to see what that monetization by that FTP model. We got to see.
Gargoyles Remastered. You ever heard of this game? This was new to me.
I think King was familiar with it. He was telling me about it. He was pretty excited. I remember when he was talking about it.
It's a size
not to me.
Yeah, it looks solid. Galactic Edition for Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. So this comes with all of the character packs. When they're done, there'll be 13 of them. So might be worth it if you're interested in that. But personally, to me, I was like, all right, whatever. Great game though. Love that game. New Aliens Dark Descent gameplay. looked really rough.
Yeah.
Frame rate, man.
The engine, I don't know.
Yeah, when I see that 20th century logo show up for these game announcements, I'm starting to become a bit of a warning flag that not all is good in the hood.
Giving you them old movie tie-in bad port energy.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
I feel you.
They confirmed very briefly that Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is still in development. And then 5 mobile games. Marvel World of Heroes, Marvel Snap. This is available on PC as well. Marvel Strike Force, Disney Mirrorverse, Avatar Reckoning. A lot of Avatar. Cog, your thoughts on the entire showcase and all that was revealed? Was it worth your time?
Only for midnight and maybe the Amy Hennig joint, but everything else I tuned out.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right. Look, I get it. What's crazy is these mobile joints are probably going to do extremely well for them. They're probably going to do, because I think one of them ones my boy plays, and it's like a big thing. Like it's it's a huge, and I'm like, nope. He be trying to get me. I'm like, I don't got no more children to lie about. So yeah, I ain't doing it because I know how I get. When it's a property I like, I'll get way too invested. Keep those things away from me. But yeah, they probably do well. One or two of them will probably hit. But other than that, But Midnight Suns, the fact that we got the release date, it's coming this year. Amy Hennig, like, let's go. Yep. I like where they're going with the Captain America, Black Panther thing in that time period. That's exciting. Actually, Avatar, I was like, all right, let's see what you do. Come on, come out. Let's see what it. But overall, just selfishly, I was excited for my stuff.
I wouldn't say selfishly. I think the showcase wasn't that good overall. They for everything that Disney, Star Wars, Marvel has in the chamber, especially Star Wars, by the way, this was really inadequate, to use Jim's words. I can't say that word without thinking about him now. I just feel like I got to call it out every time I say it.
Especially when you look at the promotional teaser trailers at the beginning and end, and they have Wolverine for PlayStation in there, Miles Morales for PlayStation there. They got Jedi for like those
no
are
Jedi
we want
on Survivor. None of that. What?
So it just shows me that the platform holders, to me, still, even though Disney has the IP, they still kind of got to say that they're controlling the message on their platforms.
So with that, it's time for our Game Pass Back Compat Pick of the Week. Just a heads up to the audience, we're not doing any ending questions this episode. Again, just to be considerate of your time. We want to make the show as lean as we possibly can, not only for your listening experience, but also for the editing side of things. So I do apologize. But since the front half was chock full of questions, we did make up for it, but I just want to make sure that's communicated before we do end up wrapping up this show. So I handled the Game Pass Back Compat Pick of the Week, and I went with one that's come out recently, Cog. This was a game that fired up the console. I downloaded day one. I went to work. I was thinking about it all day. I wonder what this experience is going to be like. I came back and I turned on Disney Dreamlight Valley, which, as I said, is getting that Toy Story update this fall.
We know how you feel about that.
I love Toy Story. We do know.
Yes, we know how you feel about that.
We know how I feel about my Toy Story.
Yes.
This game is very soothing. It is not necessarily the best management farming sim I've played, but I am pleased by, so far in its early access state, the quality. For those who don't know, it is a free-to-play game, but the reason you want to do it on Game Pass is you get the Founders Pack, so you get a bunch of free items to start off with. But I just love the innocence of it, if you will. No combat. You're just running around interacting with all these different characters. It reminds me of almost a resurgence with Disney Infinity. It's like, we're starting to pull all the properties together. I got to work with Scrooge McDuck to set up his own business. I got to help Goofy Fish. You get to decorate the houses. It's not anything you haven't seen before. It very much leans heavily on the existing IP that are within it. And I think that's fine. It's, if you were to call it Animal Crossing but Disney, that's pretty much what it is.
Okay.
But I just enjoy it a lot. It's cute, fun. It's got a decent amount of progression. As you get new tools, you'll gradually level up, and you'll go further and further outside of the island. One thing that's weird though is you have an energy bar. And when I first saw it and I fired it up because it's free to play, I went, oh boy. And maybe this ends up being a thing because, again, I still got to put more hours in. But as I fired it up, you get this energy bar and you're digging up plants, you're clearing out the Dreamlight Valley. You're like, okay, like I'm doing work. And suddenly you can't do anything anymore because your energy's tapped out. So what you have to do is either eat food or go back to your house and sleep. Now, I worried a bit about this because I thought of energy meters and mobile games, but now it's just kind of this inconvenience where if you don't have food on you, okay, back to the house I go. Fade to black, fade in. Okay, I'm rested. Out I go. Again, it's in early access, so this is kind of early access problems, but there is the potential for something to be here that's great. It's one of the top Xbox played games right now. Played games on Xbox.
Really?
Broke there. Yes. Last I looked. So it is popular. This was very wise of them to get in on, though, because again, you could see banger written all over it. The quality is up there. It's good. It works. It's fun. It's cute. And it addresses a hole that they have in their library, which is content that is more kid friendly. So I got to say, Disney Dreamlight Valley is worth a look. I think people will be pleasantly surprised. If you're looking for kind of a shut off your brain game, you don't have to be fully engaged, not necessarily the mindlessness of Power Wash Simulator where you just sit there and go, okay, I'm just going to trigger that OCD part of my brain for like 3 hours straight. This is more just you want to zen out, kick your feet up, no story, no gameplay, and just enjoy some great characters that you've grown up with. That's kind of what this is all about. It's really nice. So I've liked it, and I do recommend people check it out. Small download size too, so it's not really asking too much of you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Salute. Dreamlight. Okay.
This won't be one cog I push on you, though. I think you might get that. You call it your creepy dude at the park energy. Like, this is one of those games that I think would trigger that in you heavily.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
Look, I respect it. It needs to exist. I get it. I'm just old. I feel weird. But listen, I like that. That they're embracing those type of titles, right? Because Xbox needs that diversity. They need these type of titles. So now it needs to exist. Forget my biasness.
Yeah. Anyway, as I said earlier, that's it for the show. Cog, it feels a little weird ending without any questions. But we're being proactive here because as we're recording this, we're at the 3-hour mark. We know we have that showcase. We got to consider, I don't want to touch the 4-hour area. I want to try to avoid that. So we want to make sure we try to keep it as lean as we can. So with that, we select our hashtag. People got this deep. They listened. They thought it was good. How do we reward their listening with a great hashtag indeed, I would say. So which will it be?
I got so caught up with enjoying the show. I'm forgetting damn hashtag. I get so caught up. Like, it was so many good topics. Man.
Did we just put something out? What we should do, we should predict something that'll happen.
Okay.
Like,
I got it there.
Let's hear it.
I mean, and it's kind of fun. Well, I just don't know how to phrase it because I know it's coming.
Oh,
yeah, and it's something you hate, and I'm considering.
Wait, what?
I think I know something that I should say hate is a strong word. Something that you are. Oh, I got it. What was it you call it? What did you call it? What's the thing you call flannel? But we use flannel. Have we used flannel before?
No, I don't. Maybe.
No, but we don't have to do because I know how you feel about that. So
no, that's fine.
Nah, but we
that's okay. I'm not gonna
give me a counter. But give me another one just in case. If what you were thinking before we.
Man, I know I wasn't thinking of Deathloop. That's for sure.
Yeah, I feel it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It'll be there by the time this show's live. But
yeah, it's coming. But what about let's keep it with a Japanese thing because I think the
feudal DD
myself. Yes, because I think TGS we got to keep on theme with something Japan.
That's true. That's fair.
Yeah. So let's overrule that. I agree. Let's
sure?
feudal DD. Yeah. I think that it's a better theme. We'll see what happens, and we'll see what predictions we get from Xbox. 50 minutes.
Yeah.
50 minutes.
Hey, that Starfield trailer went hard, didn't it? Maybe. I don't know.
Let's go.
I don't know. They were there last time, so maybe I shouldn't do this because if someone listened and they already heard us talk about possibly that, they'd be like, "What the hell?" So anyway,
but it's fun though because they can see what we were trying to predict and then what actually happened. So
yeah,
let's go.
We shall see. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Take excellent care of yourselves. If you got this deep into the show, use the hashtag FeudalDD over on Twitter. I am at G27status. That is at Lord Cognito. Tag both of us. Let us know your thoughts on the show using the hashtag, again, FeudalDD. Otherwise, go in the YouTube comment section if you want to avoid social media. You can put your thoughts there, positive, negative, whatever they may be. We're looking forward to reading them. And with that, take good care of yourselves, and we will see you next week for episode 90 of Defining Duke and Xbox Podcast. Peace out.
Defining Duke, an Xbox Podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Colin's Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman, and the show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.